Welcome to the Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard.
Hi, Dax Shepard.
What's your name, young lady?
Monica Padman.
Monica Padman. We have a lovely guest today, Alison Brie. I think I came to know her on Community, yeah?
Yeah, and
That's
Mad Men.
Mad Men as well. Glow. She's on BoJack Horseman. She's uber talented, and she's got a new movie out called Horse Girl. Maybe my favorite title of a film ever.
Yeah.
Horse Girl, out now on Netflix. Additionally, we've kind of been in touring retirement for a few months.
Yeah.
And we're going to be back out there. April 4th, Saturday, HistoryCon will present Armchair Expert live from Los Angeles at the Pasadena Convention Center. So, gang, if you're in the LA area and you'd love to see us live, we have a very juicy guest. History is going to be
changed. We're going to change history?
We're just going to talk about it.
Change it.
And then we'll change it a little bit, maybe. So tickets go on sale Friday, February 21st at 10 a.m. local time. Visit www.armchairexpertpod.com for ticket link. Please enjoy Alison Brie. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/Dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax.
We get support from Skims. Oh man, do I love Skims. I've been living in the Skims lightweight cotton collection all summer, and I have to tell you, getting dressed has become so easy. I just throw it on. It just feels right immediately, whether I'm grabbing coffee or I'm on the couch all day or I'm out, even going to dinner. The cotton is so lightweight and breathable, which in this heat is a non-negotiable. The cotton jersey t-shirt, I just need everyone to know about this one. This one hugs in all the right places. It's very soft and it still looks and fits the same after months of washing, which is very hard to do, I feel, with t-shirts. I've been wearing the black cotton jersey t-shirt with basically everything all summer long. It goes great with any patterned skirt or shorts or pants. I mean, anything, truly. I believe that's probably my favorite piece from the cotton collection, but they also have great lightweight cotton thongs that are so comfortable and they're cute. That is a very, very hard mix to achieve, especially with undergarments. I feel if you can find some that are cute, but also comfortable and do the job, that is a win. And Skims has really, really figured that out with the lightweight cotton collection. Shop Skims cotton and all of my favorite pieces at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Armchair Expert in the drop-down menu that follows.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Oh yeah, you can put your feet up, get comfy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I do all
God,
the
yeah.
time over there, yeah.
Okay.
People take Monica to task over that, and we
yeah, they
love
get
it.
mad at me on the comments, but I'm like,
For
fuck
putting
it,
your
it's
shoes
my
on
couch.
it? I'll just leave them down here. I'm already pretty gross.
Also, no one's coming to lay in here in their
No one's, like, putting
jammies
their
to
face
watch.
on
Yeah,
this.
to watch a movie or anything.
Feels very close to me, Rob. Shoving it down my throat.
Rob.
Basically, Rob.
All right, I'm gonna take my last bite of my apple.
Don't want to offend any misophonia people.
I know you guys are all about not offending misophonia people. By the way, there's a myth in my mind that eating an apple is good for your diction. So it's actually a good thing to eat before doing a podcast, although it might not be true. It's something that someone told me in theater school, and I've believed it ever since.
First of all, I hope you're right, because anything I could use to clear up my diction prior to launching off would be very helpful.
Scoot up a little.
But this was an expert. This is a professional who guided you in this direction, right? It was someone under
I feel
you.
like it was another student who said, that's really good for your diction. And I was like, great, I'll do it every day.
Well, do you find I have a little rule when we do live shows, which sucks sometimes because we're often in a really cool city and Wobby Wob is a foodie, so he takes us to these great places. I don't eat cheese the day of
Right.
a live show.
Yes.
I don't know if that's psychosomatic, but I really feel the difference.
The dairy in your throat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think so.
You'd buy that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's good. I think that's good. Get my stamp of approval.
I will say this about Apple before we move on from it. If I'm ever like in a situation where I'm like, God, I'd love to brush my teeth right now, but I don't have the accoutrement, I find a real crisp apple. And that, for me, it feels like brushing my teeth.
Really?
Yeah, like it'll give me another couple hours on the feeling in my mouth.
I don't have
Nope.
that.
I don't like that.
Okay,
No.
because
I think that then you have like apple on the breath is a bit weird, even though I love apples and I do try to
Sure.
eat one every day. I feel like it can leave a weird,
Like a film.
a little bit of a film. I guess it
sugary
depends how
film.
crisp the apple is.
That's true. Maybe I've never had one as crisp as
you want a
find it.
crisp one.
I
You're
like
not.
a crisp one. I like to keep them in the fridge.
Do you like? I don't like the tart varieties. I like the sweet varieties.
Like a what are the tart ones
The
called?
green, like a Granny Smith.
Mainly
No,
just that.
No, right? Yeah.
Granny Smith, no
Yeah.
way. But Pink Lady, which is very sweet, used to be like my main apple choice, but now they're a little too sweet.
What about a Golden Delicious with that nice soft
actually-
green yellow?
I do like a Golden Delicious, but the best is
Honey Crisp?
yes,
Duh.
Okay.
Duh.
Okay.
Crisp is in the name. You know it's
Yeah.
good.
Honey Crisp. What more could you ask
What more?
for?
Nothing.
But just to go back to the Golden Crisp, it is
No, you
the
mean
roll.
Golden Delicious.
Golden
Golden
Delicious.
Delicious.
It's the Rolls Royce of apples.
I put Golden Delicious as like my third best in the top tier, but number 3. It places
Okay.
third, and then we drop.
Speaking of which, have you ever done any judging?
Oh.
Not well, you know what? I don't think I have done any like legit judging, but I did the Gong Show.
Yeah, okay. It's a revamp, right? It was
Yes.
a show in the 70s or 80s, and people would do a little talent, and if they suck, someone would nail the gong.
But the point is, they sort of get these acts that are especially outrageous and outlandish
Got
and
it.
sort of meant to be sucking. And if they're especially bad, they get the gong. But also, the new one. Is it still on? It was hosted.
I don't know.
think.
But it was hosted by Mike Myers?
yes, but
but he
in
was doing a
character,
character.
which
Yes.
was very
Oh.
interesting.
Yeah, so when you were interacting with him, should go without saying, there's no disrespect to the Gong Show. We're
Oh
huge
my God.
fans. It's a great
no,
product.
And actually, I had such a fun time doing it.
Exactly. Now, back to the character.
Yeah.
So did he ever break that character to connect with you?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I met him in character, and it was super weird. But it was also like kind of like, okay, I appreciate the commitment.
Yeah, sure.
And then I met Mike Myers maybe a year after that because I was doing Seth Meyers in New York, and he was the first guest. And then I just didn't acknowledge. I didn't know if it would be appropriate. To be
Right.
like, we actually met before.
What if he had no memory of
He
it?
would have been
because
like,
it's a
that wasn't me.
Yeah,
I
how
didn't-
how embarrassed would I be? What egg on my face
Yes.
if he was like, how dare you?
Well, now, the people who were in Lincoln, right? Abraham Lincoln film. And you had Dan Lewis, right, being Abe Lincoln.
You call him Dan?
I do, yeah. So Dan Lewis, could you, if you were acting in those scenes, is he so good and so committed that you really start thinking, by God, it's 1868 and I'm here with Abe Lincoln?
I do think it probably would change. For me personally, it definitely would change the way I would be on set because I would probably feel a little embarrassed to just be like chewing a piece of gum
on
my phone.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like any job,
Ordering
any
some
movie,
Nikes.
any new job I go to do you do this where I feel like day one, I don't bring my phone. I try to come to set and just be like, what's the vibe? Are people cool with phones?
Yeah.
How serious are people on this set? I used to work on a show, Mad Men.
Yes.
And at the same time, I was shooting another show on NBC, Community.
Community, yes, which I am confused about, and I want to hear a lot about that. Just the schedule of it all.
Well, yeah, there were days because often the schedules really overlapped. And I mean, for like years, you know, and there were a couple, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 days in those span of those years where I did both shows in the same day. So I would start in the morning on one and then drive over and do a late night on the other.
Yeah.
And all of this is really to say that Mad Men, I was recurring on the show. I never had a contract. I was never a regular character.
Yeah.
It was also one of my first jobs. And I really wanted to respect that set.
Sure.
I would never have brought my phone to the set until maybe season 6, season 7. I bring it, keep it in my chair.
You're
very
already a
quiet,
regular on
low
another
key.
show. Yeah.
And I had been there for enough since the first season. So by
Yeah.
then you're sort of like, okay, it's okay. But the reverence I had for that set, and it seemed like a much more serious set to me, even though I imagined that the regulars on the show probably were more relaxed than I was being like, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me still. But I would always joke with the people on Community, which were so my family. I was a regular over there, and it's a comedy, and we would just be making each other laugh until we were crying, laughing, and then action, like we were so loud, like boisterous kids on a playground. And I'd be like, if you guys saw me on the set of Mad Men, you wouldn't recognize me. Like,
Well,
I'm like,
they'd think you had Stockholm syndrome or something.
total,
right?
like
you were
just
a zombie version
different
of yourself.
person, a very serious actor. It did feel to me much quieter, and like you were threading a needle of emotion and the nuance to what the characters were the meaning behind what we were saying, and all of that stuff. And Matt Weiner was always on set, so you felt like
He was.
Yes,
Like
and
Dad was around.
yes,
Yeah.
and maybe popping in to give you a quick note or making sure that you're doing it the way he wants you to do it, which actually I really liked because then you knew, like you
Right.
weren't going to move on unless you really nailed
Got
it.
it.
How do you feel about line readings?
Well, it depends.
Really quick, a line reading is where the director comes up to you and he says, you should say, welcome to Arby's. I'm sad. You know, that he'll give you
He'll
all,
say your exact line
Correct.
in
Yes.
the exact cadence that they want you to
hope
say
you to
it.
pair it. Yeah, yeah. Which is very triggering for many, many actors.
It's true. People really hate it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen people really lose their shit over it.
I definitely got some line readings from Matt,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't bother me. I think because I just
Yeah.
loved Matt so much. And again, this was my first real job. I was doing regional theater. I had done a couple episodes, an episode of a show here, like a B horror movie. Got this job on this show. The material was so good. I was so excited to be there. When I got I booked one episode and everyone made it very clear, this is for one episode. You're coming in to do one
Don't
episode.
leave anything
it's a
behind.
possible recurring, possible. And by the end of that week of shooting, they asked me to come back for the next episode.
Ooh.
So I already just loved Matt for taking a chance on me, for
Yeah.
giving me this role in this show. And again, he was so specific. I really admired the way he created that whole show with such specificity.
Oh, yeah.
So also, if he wants something that specific, and I'm sitting there, and now we're on take 10, and it's like he's like, "Can I just tell you how I want you to say it?" Because he's hearing like his grandmother's voice in his head, or his mom's, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Yes, just tell me, because then we can move on." In that scenario, there's me, there's Matt. I have a high respect level for him. Certainly, I've been in situations where someone tries to give me a line reading whom I don't have as much respect
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And you're a little bit like, step back.
Well, isn't it? It's interesting. There's another bizarre part of TV versus film, which is film. Quite often you won't meet the writer, right?
Sure.
And so the director really is the person you're like, oh, I'm executing their fantasy of this whole thing. Whereas in television, it's very much a writer's medium, and you're trying to execute what the writer wanted. So
Yeah.
it's harder, I would imagine, for an episodic director that's coming in and maybe only doing 2 episodes that whole season, and they tell you No, you're supposed to say, welcome to Arby's. And you're like, well, I don't think you would know that more than I would know it.
I like that in your example, we're doing an Arby's commercial.
I'm always doing it, yeah. Anywho, so the sets for Mad Men were all in L.A. downtown?
Yeah.
Weirdly, where you're now filming Glow?
LA Center Studios. We shot our 3rd season of Glow there, but not the 1st or 2nd, and I don't think we'll be back there for the 4th.
You won't.
Oh, yeah. Also, congratulations on the
one-off.
4th
Congratulations,
season.
yes.
you.
You know, we're very close with Jackie Tone.
Of course.
Love
Also
her.
Chris Lowell.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Oh, I adore them both so much.
Yes. So I want to go through, because you found yourself now 3 times, which is almost impossible to do, in like really crazy, well-rounded casts. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at Mad Men and you go, oh my God. Elizabeth Moss goes on to do Handmaid's Tale. I can't imagine there's any better acting on television at all.
I mean, no, I mean, you could say the same about her performance on Mad Men.
Yeah.
The
She
scenes
was-
with her and John Hamm. There's
my
one
God.
that episode, what? The
suitcase!
where just the two of them, you're like,
good.
yes.
Uh-huh.
It's like a clinic.
Yeah.
It is.
On
It's a
acting.
workshop. Uh-huh.
I feel that way watching Betty Gilpin when we're working on Glow. And it's that has been like a clinic for me, acting in scenes with her, just being like, the well of emotion. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very lucky in the television space. It's crazy.
Yes.
And also, I guess I've used all of those shows to learn. And so Mad Men, I was 24 years old when I started working on that. I had gone to theater school and studied theater and just was all
Yeah.
about theater and was
Yeah.
working doing theater.
You went to
then
Cal Arts.
I went to Cal Arts.
Really quick, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So Cal Arts is in Santa Clarita,
Yeah.
and you were born in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, at Cedars. I grew up in Highland Park and then South Pasadena.
Oh, okay, great.
So I didn't go to like Hollywood High or anything like that.
But you are from this city, I mean.
Definitely.
So the college experience being out in Santa Clarita, it's not as collegey as I'm thinking, right? Or it's not like, or did you
Well-
feel like you went away to a college town?
I mean, I definitely was like driving home to my mom's house on the weekends to do laundry, so I didn't have
Sure.
to pay for it. So in that sense, it didn't feel like I was like away at school, but it also did. It was far enough away from my family in South Pass. I mean, a 45-minute drive, but I lived on campus. And
Yeah, you had dorms and the whole nine.
Yes, but it's a tiny school. It's very small. There were probably 1,200 students when I went there. It's like one driveway loop. And there's like the undergrad housing building, the, MFA housing building, and the main building of school. And that's the college.
Yeah.
So it's a real small arts conservatory. And there were probably like 32 students in my acting class. And then we were broken down into smaller groups. So we would do real small classes with like 8 people, and you do classes for voice and movement. And there's a lot of classes where you're just like sticking your tongue out and blah, blah, blah for 2 years. And then you're like, now you know how to use your voice. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Did you feel like you got tools there that you are currently employing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even just to the extent of like, we did really crazy stuff. So it just got kind of ingrained in you to not be embarrassed,
Yeah.
to take risks,
Yeah,
to be a bit fearless about stuff. And to speak to that sort of, I did one semester in Scotland. I did a semester abroad in my final year at school at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama.
My goodness.
And,
Love saying
or in Glasgow.
royal. In Glasgow,
yeah.
yes. And there, that freedom, the nth degree of like, I have nothing to lose. I'll probably never see any of these people again.
Sure.
And that school was fantastic because they would bring in new teachers every week to do these crazy workshops. And it might be like an improv capoeira week or something. And because of the way the schools matched up, I was a senior at my college, but I was with the third year students at their school.
And were they primarily Scottish students?
It was a mix of Scots and like Brits and a couple American students who were like doing the full program at that school.
Right.
A lot of crazy accents
I was
that
gonna
some
say.
students I couldn't understand even until my final day of the semester. They'd be like,
Sure.
I was like, oh, you're going to the fair? I'd be like, yeah.
I would just always assume they were asking if I was going to the pub. And I would
Totally.
just say
And I'd be
yes.
like, yep. And then I just ended up often at the pub.
Yeah, did you fall for any of these?
No, I had a boyfriend.
Oh, bummer.
Here.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
know. And he came out and visited me, and we like took a great trip around looking at old castles, and he was great. But, there was like one boy that was very sweet, and I walked home from school with him every day. Scottish, very sweet. Possible chance there was another boy, an American boy, that everyone thought we were having a romantic
Interlude.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
But we weren't. But I would always sleep over with him and his roommates, and we just like would smoke a lot of weed, and we would just hang out, the two of us, all the time.
Oh, wow. Mixed
And
messages.
I guess, well, if I hadn't had a boyfriend, I probably would have been open to
Yeah.
that. But
But I
you
kind of
know.
wanted you to be in a scenario like you just described, where a guy and he's leaving the room and he looks back and he's brooding and he's like, oh, and you don't know what he's saying, but you're rolling with it.
No, of course it was like the American guy.
Right.
It was like, his name was Pat.
Are you going to the pub after this class?
Hey, everyone's going over here. Let's go. But anyway, romantically, it wasn't adventurous. But in every other sense, I could be the first person in class to be like, I'll get up and try this crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like,
you
and it
felt
was
anonymous
so
a little bit.
Fun, very much. And even the students there were like, "Are you this outgoing at your school in America?" And I was like, "Not quite as much." But what have I got to lose here?
That's
And is
a
it-
great attitude. It does say something about you, because if I had done that, I would have been like desperate to fit into their sort of mold of what they're doing, and I would have been trying to get their approval, and I would not have been feeling like, what is there to lose? So I
Swing
think
for
that's
the-
great.
It was sort of an extension of, don't you feel anyway like when you transition from high school to college, that's your chance to reinvent yourself?
Oh, sure.
And I certainly had that happen. And then this was taking
Can I
it
ask
to
what you
another
were?
stage.
What did you go from to?
Well,
Like, what was the high school Allison versus the college Allison?
in high school, well, I definitely was sort of a theater nerd.
Okay.
Senior year was like president of the drama club.
Oh, sure.
Co-president.
Uh-huh.
Lindsay Squibb. But I always really prided myself on having friends outside of drama as well. So I wasn't like totally isolated in the drama program. It's hard for me to analyze it because I had such a great time in high school.
Right.
I didn't have a jaded high school experience
Good.
because I loved doing drama and I had my like 3 closest friends who were not in drama. And like I still, even when I take a step back, because I often am like, I don't know if people found me super nerdy or not. I feel like I fell a little in the middle. I only have a sense because my senior year, I was invited to this like popular party and I went and like made out with some new popular guy.
Oh, my goodness.
And then some other girl who was a cheerleader was like, "What are you doing at this party?" So then I was like, "Oh, I guess you guys do think I'm kind of nerdy." It's a real gift, I think, that I had drama in high school because I didn't care a lot about what people thought about me.
Well, you were
This is what I'm
getting,
saying.
guess.
It's a theme.
but you were filling up a bucket on the stage. You were getting like approval and
Yes.
attention and all this
Yes.
stuff, and that's a confidence builder.
It was. And I was a bit eccentric in terms of like wearing skirts over pants, like,
Oh.
cutting my hair super short. People thought I shaved my head.
Oh, wow.
Things like that.
And were you doing any child acting?
No, not like professional child acting. My parents had me in the summer program in Los Feliz with the Jewish Community Center, and I did plays there from when I was 6 or 7 until middle school. And then I did plays with the middle school. And I also did like a summer theater program at the Pasadena Playhouse. So I always was doing acting and theater.
Right. But your dad was a reporter, like an entertainment reporter, or is that exaggerated?
He still is.
He still is? Okay, great. I wonder if I'd done an interview with him, I wonder.
No,
Okay.
it's more. My dad was and still is a musician, and he is a singer-songwriter, guitarist. And before I was born, he really made his living playing music around Hollywood, being more like the house band
Right,
at
like
restaurants and
restaurants and
bars
stuff,
and
yeah.
playing covers and just like performing for everyone you can imagine. And then when my parents got divorced when I was 5, he sort of took over my grandfather's business as a journalist.
Oh.
And he became a freelance entertainment journalist. So he sort of it's like, how do I describe it? Because I only more recently have been able to wrap my head around it and what it is that he does.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, he would cover like Oscar parties and things like that. I definitely had an awareness of like him coming home and talking about brushing shoulders with Bruce Willis and Demi Moore and being like, whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Or like going to try to get an interview with Robert Downey Jr. when he was getting out of rehab and things like that. But these days, it's more about him sort of like getting documents from the courthouse to verify celebrity divorces and things like that for places like Extra and People Magazine. And that stuff.
He'll see my name, I'm sure, eventually.
I mean, all of us. It's less like you're going to meet him at a junket. It's more like when I'm at the junkets, a lot of people will be like, I know your dad. And I'm like, oh.
we have that too, because Kristen's father's a news director currently in Vegas, but he's been all over the country. And quite often the people that are interviewing us will be like, yeah, I worked for your dad for 8 years.
It's a funny thing.
You stay with mom?
I went week to week.
Really? Like completely
week to week,
equal?
My whole life. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very equal.
And you have an older sister?
Yeah.
How much older?
I'm under 2 years older.
Oh, really?
22 months older. For so long, we would tell everybody we're 22 months apart. And like maybe in our late 20s, early 30s, her husband was like, you have to stop. You're not babies. Like, it's weird that you measure your, we're like, but 2 years imply it's longer. We're really much short. We're closer.
By the way, my daughters are exactly 22 months apart. And I always say 22 months. I never say 2 years.
I think our parents ingrained it because they would always tell people that.
Yeah, I don't know why we're proud of it. It doesn't even make any sense. Like,
I know.
But I do. I don't want anyone to think it's 2 years because it was 22 months.
It's under. It's true. I think for my sister and I, we're like, it implies
are closer.
The closeness.
Yeah.
Because
I like
we're
that
very
too.
close. It's just the two of us.
So she was kind of paving the way for you in high school. Yeah. Does she have similar interests?
No, not at all. She didn't love going to South Pasadena, and she also hung out with a very different crowd than me. I was much more of like, without saying like nerd or not nerd, I definitely like wanted to get good grades so I could stay in drama. And I was like a good girl and like a good student.
Right.
And my sister was a little more rebellious.
Oh, cool.
And so she also hung out with cooler people. Definitely it was an asset in middle school because she was in 8th grade when I came in 6th grade. And I can remember vividly like the time when some girl picked on me. And then it just took my sister being like, you know, that's my sister. And then being like, oh my God, Lauren, we're so sorry. Like, because she was very cool.
Yeah, I love that.
But there wasn't a lot of overlap because she went to the high school before me and then was like, oof, I do not like people at this white bread South Pasadena high school. I'm going to go to this other high school. So she left and went to that high school. And then she ended up just getting her GED and testing out of school because she really wanted to just
live
her life.
Yeah. What does she do now?
She has 3 kids,
Okay.
and she recently sort of retired from being a financial advisor, which she was a partner at UBS for years. But
wow.
She has 3 sons who are 7 and 5.5 and 3.5, and that's turning out to be a pretty full-time job.
Oh my gosh. God bless her.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I get to talk to folks I admire like crazy and ask them virtually any question that I want to. I can't imagine a better way to spend my time. But even dream jobs have some not so dreamy parts, the stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. Now, that's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work. They actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. So you and your team can focus on what matters most, which for me is, are they obsessed with male bodies on the same level as I am?
They never are.
To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
Living your best life means being extra where it counts and skipping the extra where you don't need it. Like in your cleaning products. That's where Seventh Generation comes in. Their bio-based cleaning power delivers a powerful clean with nothing extra in the bottle. Need a dish soap that cuts through the tough grease? A detergent that tackles the worst stains and odors? Seventh Generation handles it all without any dyes or artificial fragrances. Real clean doesn't have to come with a long list of add-ons. Upgrade to a powerful clean without anything extra. Look for Seventh Generation dish soap and laundry detergent wherever you shop for your cleaning products.
Okay, so when you got out of, so Royal Scottish Academy was the last bit of schooling you did.
So that
'cause
was
it
like
your
the
last
first semester of my senior year of college. And then I came back just to do our, we did an LA and New York showcases.
Yeah.
And, to try to get agents and did our final plays. And then.
And at that point, were you
that.
thinking, I want to go to Broadway? Or were you thinking, I want to act on TV and in movies?
The latter. This is a thing that's been always very humorous to me because during my time at CalArts, and the school is very theater forward, and they definitely frown upon, or at least at that time they did, having agents at all while you're in school. I graduated high school and got a commercial agent right away.
Yeah, of course.
And got my SAG card.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then secretly during my first year at CalArts, I tried to be out doing auditions and very quickly realized that it just was impossible anyway, because we would be in classes from 9 to 5 and then you had to work crew on a play
Right.
from 7 to 11 at night. There was really no time to be driving the 45 minutes to hour and a half, depending on traffic, to Hollywood to audition for
And then get
Arby's.
I mean,
Arby's.
truly, I feel like the final straw was me driving in for a Spanish language Pepto-Bismol commercial.
Oh, pink bismuth. We love pink bismuth.
And then was so stressed out trying to make it back to work crew. And I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Well, what's funny is that while I probably auditioned for, upwards of 2,000 commercials, maybe more. I did it for 8 years and booked 2 of them. And I do remember there were just a couple where I was like, boy, is there any coming back from, if I'm in the herpes commercial, which there was a Valtrex herpes commercial, I was like, is this worth it? I'm broke, but will then people think I have herpes
that's
everywhere I
gonna
go?
stay forever.
There's just a few of them, a diarrhea one. There's just a handful where you're kind of you
diarrhea
get there and you're
one's
like,
not good.
I'm out, I think. I would
The
say
diarrhea one is the
Pepto-Bismol.
That is.
Although
Well,
you could
yeah.
be playing that you just had an upset stomach.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
but
it was. More
everyone
me sitting in bed
knows.
just being like, But also I was like to my agent, why would you think that I would be a good fit? I didn't book the commercial.
my God.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to find that commercial and play it in the fact
didn't
check.
book the commercial.
Whoever it was.
I would kill to see a commercial of you going, ay, ay, ay. Because
no
you'd
bueno.
go, yes, like I'd go, oh, did she eat spicy Mexican food? Is this like a
It
weird?
does. That is the message. It's like,
Yeah.
white girls can't hang with Mexican food.
Oh my.
Ay, 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 Poppy.
Anyway, what I was going to say is, I guess, that the whole time I was at CalArts, then I got very into the theater aspect of it. And I was very much like, I'll never do TV. I was so like, TV is the lowest form of entertainment.
But just to defend you for half a second, the only thing at that point had been Sopranos and maybe The Wire, a couple. Mad Men ushers in kind of a new wave of high quality
Totally.
television on cable.
So you could say I was just waiting
For
for
Mad
the new
Men, yes.
era. The
But I'm just
golden
saying,
age
don't
of
beat yourself
television.
up too much.
I guess I just enjoy the irony that all my success has been in television, and
Oh.
college
Totally.
me was so like nose up about
Yeah.
that form of performing. I wanted to work in movies.
Yeah.
And also, my family's here, and I knew what an advantage it was going to be. I moved right back home. I moved
Yeah.
right back with my mom after college, took a lot of shit from my college friends who got jobs as waitresses and had very expensive apartments.
Yeah.
And I lived with my mom and worked at a yoga studio for a few hours a week and could audition for everything.
Oh,
and
that's
like,
great.
it was wonderful.
And were you at that time at all going like, I want to be in comedy or I want to be in drama or I want to be in anything?
I want to be in anything, but I think I thought I was going to be more in dramas
Mm-hmm.
because coming out of school and playing more of like the ingenue roles
yeah.
and stuff. And I actually right away got hip pocketed by this manager, which means that they are not going to represent you, but they saw me in a play at CalArts and they were like, we're going to help you get an agent and a commercial agent. And like, maybe we'll kind of see how you do, but we're not officially, you can't say that we're your manager officially.
Yes.
And so this manager put me in classes with Leslie Kahn, which is like very much comedy classes. It's
Okay.
basically auditioning for comedy TV
Sitcoms.
shows, for sitcoms. It's how to
Right.
audition and book comedy shows is basically the whole thing.
Yeah.
And this manager who I worked with briefly was like, take classes there because you're so theatery. Like, but let's bring it down a little so you understand how to audition for TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, happy to do it. And the first job I ever did was an episode of Hannah Montana in the very first season.
I read this and I was so excited about this. I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan.
Are you?
I truly
Me too.
am.
Me too. And at the time, had no idea. It was the very first season of the show. I was like, oh, Billy Ray Cyrus is like doing a show.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just kind of didn't understand what it was. But also, coming out of theater school, would I have ever been like, Hannah Montana, that's my goal?
Yes.
Show, a Disney it was not something I was like, whatever. But very quickly, I just realized, oh, I don't care. How fun to audition for things, how fun to play a big character.
Yes.
Also, to do it was like kind of the perfect first job out of theater school because you still have a live audience.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
then you
like,
get a paycheck at the end of the
oh
week.
my God. So right away, I was like, it really doesn't matter. Another thing was that right away, I saw at that time the head of our theater department at CalArts out at a commercial audition. So like this was a woman who had been like, theater is the only way.
Sure.
And then it was like, when you go out on these commercial auditions, you'll be in a huge room with like 100
yeah.
people and maybe there's 6 different commercials. And she also had no ego about that, which was kind of great. She wasn't like, oh, I'm caught. She was like, Alison, darling, welcome to the real world. I'm going in for Taco Bell. And I was like, great.
Wow.
I'm here for Nike. Wish me luck.
Because I would be, yes, my codependency would immediately be like, oh, I'm going to pretend I don't see her because she'll probably be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right. And she was just like, hello.
She
like
owned
from
it.
across the I was like, oh, great. But that just made me realize, like, oh, yeah, we all have to work. Even my teachers who are playing King Lear at some cool theater downtown are auditioning for Taco Bell. Like,
Yeah.
we're just actors trying to do the thing we love doing.
That's right. So, but then Mad Men is very quick, though.
Pretty quick.
And then you go from that, and then what is Communities 2009?
It was 2 years later. So we did 2 seasons of Mad Men, and then I started doing Community.
And was there a point where you had been offered Community and you told Mad Men, like, you could make me a regular or I got to go do this thing?
There was a point, but not with Community. So I never really did. And to this day, have maybe done one proper pilot season.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I've always been on the outskirts of these really regular things that my like actor friends are in the trenches of for one reason or another. And because Mad Men, I came in the 4th episode. So it was already a show that was picked up, but also it was for AMC. It was the first scripted program for that show. So it wasn't like, ooh, this is going to be so great. It was sort of like, what is this?
Oh, it was my first stop on AMC, I think, ever. Yeah.
I mean, right.
Yeah.
And even when I read it, and then I got a friend of mine, I had shot an episode, and then a friend of mine got like a copy of the pilot of Mad Men. I was like, great, I'm so curious to see. Yeah. And I remember watching it and being so depressed because I was like, it's too good. This is never going to last.
That's what January said. That's exactly
it's
what
very
she said.
Slow. It's very thoughtful. I was like, who's going to watch this? It's good. It'll be good while it lasts. Anyway, so I had been working on Mad Men for 2 years, and I was probably doing like 6 episodes a season, but truly waiting by the phone. I mean, I would book like a horror movie and be like in rehearsals about to start shooting it, and then they'd be like, we might want to use you for an episode next month, and I'd be like, cancel the movie. I gotta pull out. It's not like it was any like big exciting jobs, but I definitely was just like waiting. So then I did a pilot season, and I was about to test for this other network show. It was a drama about lawyers. Ooh. I don't remember what it was called. And so we called Mad Men to be like, because before you test for a show, you have to sign a 5 or 6 year
7,
contract.
I think. Yeah.
Before going to test, we called Mad Men and gave them this ultimatum, and they came back and offered me like a 7 out of 13 contract.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't very appealing because I had already been doing 6 out of 12 or 13 episodes, and the amount was not especially higher than what I was getting paid. And I just was like, let's roll the dice.
Yeah.
I think I was more just thinking through like, my character is never going to be a main character on Mad Men.
Right. You're just trying to be realistic.
There's a lot of characters. I was number 22 on the call sheet. I just thought, even if I'm locked in, what's the best case scenario? It seems like I should try to do this other thing and still get to do Mad Men.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So we turned it down. And then I didn't book the show and was like hysterical. Was like, what have I done?
Oh, yeah.
So then I auditioned for Community.
Yeah.
And the Community audition process was super fast because by the time I went in, they had a number of casting sessions for this role.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find the person. So I auditioned one time in a room full of 50 girls. And then I came and did a callback. Nobody was there. There was, I guess, an actress in New York who actually recently connected with who was like, it was me. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just me by myself going on tape with the Russo brothers and Dan Harmon. And then that was it. I didn't have to do even a crazy network and studio test. They just sent my tape to test.
Yeah.
So we didn't even call Mad Men because we were like, well, we already kind of know what their offer is and that we're not going to take that offer. And we already kind of told them and so whatever. So then I get the job and we call them just to be like, so Alison's doing this pilot. And there was some heat, there was definitely some backlash of like.
People panicking a little bit.
Definitely it was like, well, if she can't be released back to do 5 episodes for the next season, then we don't want her at all.
Okay.
She won't be asked back.
Wow.
And I was like,
oh gosh. Oh boy.
But then it all worked out.
Wait, so what did you end up doing?
They would let me out every season. Matt Weiner would write our producers letters. And it's such a testament to him and also to Mad Men and what a force that was that like NBC aside, the producers on Community loved Mad Men. They were like, we don't want to not see your character on Mad Men. So they would always agree. And then honestly, I would do probably 3 to 5 for those less. Like they really didn't use me for all the episodes anyway. And the greatest gift is when I was shooting my very last episode, the final season of Mad Men, Matt Weiner said to me, I think you did the right thing because we probably wouldn't have been able to use you for more episodes. And I was like, thank you for saying it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you can play that game in your mind where you're like, I don't know, should I have taken this regular? Would my character by season 6, would it have been like the Pete and Trudy series.
You guys go off on a road trip or something.
Right. It was very validating for him to be like, you made a good decision.
And you did 6 years on Community. That's a dang long run on a show these days.
Yeah.
And it was on NBC for
5 of those.
5 of those. And then 1 year where? Netflix or something? Or?
Oh no, Yahoo Screen.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure if you know it. They did
Was just-
1 year of shows and we pretty much tanked them immediately. We were at Paramount for our first 5 seasons.
Okay.
And then we moved to CBS Radford, where we literally shot in the basement underneath where they shot Parks and Rec. It was such a sad, it was like,
Oh my God.
okay,
You're
well, we're
passing
still
them.
making the show. We literally, they had to write in, there were these giant pillars that were now going through our sets, like our cafeteria set that they recreated. And they like wrote it in to the show to be like, what's the school's under construction, you know?
Oh, wow. And would you guys like see Polar and stuff and be like, hey, we're just going down into the underground
Sometimes
below
we'd
you?
see those guys. Bye. we don't get daylight down where we shoot. We knew it was the end.
Well, you got to work with Donald.
I
It's
know.
true.
So,
We're
okay,
obsessed with him.
I have to
I
imagine
know.
you have,
As you know.
you must have the similar feeling like, yeah, I know, the guy's a genius.
we like him.
But he was just a fucking shithead on the, like, he's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, I didn't
mean-
recognize that he was, you know, the second coming of talent.
Actually, I sort of disagree.
Oh,
I
you
feel
did?
like one of the most special things about that time with him was like getting to hear all of his music as he was first creating it.
Childish Gambino.
And I remember then being like, you know, you're on a set with someone and they're like, oh yeah, I also kind of rap. And you're like, cool.
Right.
Like, good for you.
That's my point.
And then he started to play stuff for us and you'd be like, oh shit, this is really good. This is very good.
Yeah.
And then he'd play more stuff. And then even because his music evolved, I mean, we listened to like the very first mixtapes where he was rapping over like indie rock bands and stuff like that. And even then it was amazing. Also, then he introduced me to a lot of like indie rock bands that I was not aware of. I was like, oh, this is all very cool. But then, you know, watching him create his first album and all this stuff, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. He was the funniest person on the set, first of all, out of anyone in terms of like behind the scenes, in between takes, who was making us laugh the most and the hardest, dying. His mind, I mean, like, and more than anyone, because it surprises people, I think, to hear that we didn't do a lot of improv on that show.
Right.
Dan Harmon, I feel like, actually was kind of a stickler about his jokes and the way things were written.
Sure.
But Donald was the only person that,
He had
without
carte
fail, they'd get
blanche.
to his coverage and they'd be like, I feel like you could beat that.
Oh.
Maybe just try something.
Yeah. By the way, that's always a funny dynamic on a set when it's like some people kind of are allowed to improv and then other people's kind of
Allison,
aren't.
don't do that. If you could just say the scripted.
Can we just get one scripted?
And in fact, here's a line reading of how we'd like you to say it. But we didn't mind because Donald was so funny. It was like, of course, let Donald do.
Right.
I mean,
right. Now, Chevy Chase, the infamous Chevy Chase. But yeah, I've heard Chevy is, you know, he's a handful in a lot of ways. Was it? Yeah.
that's accurate.
Now, I guess there'd be two ways. Let me just say if I was on the scene, because I've actually asked Joe, like I've heard a couple stories. I'm like, how did you react to that? One, I could just go like, well, I'm going to enjoy the show. This person's crazy. They're a disruptor. What will happen? That's exciting. Or I can easily click into I'm the sheriff. I'm the one who has to regulate this person.
Right.
I kind of, it's like whatever dynamic you had probably in your family and the chaos is what you.
Totally. And so very much the former, you know, very easy for Chevy to just be like crazy grandpa. And honestly, for the most part, especially in the first couple seasons, Chevy was very sweet to me.
He was.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think also, you know, early in my career, I mean, and a thing that we're realizing that all women felt like we always used to have to do is like humor men when they made inappropriate comments to you and laugh and giggle and sit on their lap. And I was like really good at doing that.
right. Like letting that compulsion to let them off the hook because
You
you're
just want to make them feel good about it.
because you're so
That was
fearful
a-
that they'll become embarrassed, which will be a whole other uglier side of them.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes. And I think I had some empathy.
I think we can
because
all
of,
relate
like,
to that.
maybe even men I've known in my life or family members or things like that, where I just wanted to almost protect him a little. Not really. I mean, then there was some bad behavior that was inexcusable, but also you'd be like, just laugh at it and pat him on the back and everything's fine.
Yeah, like just keep it moving and hopefully it'll be over.
Don't disrupt.
Yeah, that reminds me so much of like when you were around the drunk stepdad or the drunk adult at a party and you're like, oh God, we just got to keep him from realizing everyone knows he's embarrassing himself.
Sure.
Oh,
And
geez,
sometimes
man.
the stuff that Chevy would say was so out there, like to a degree that was so offensive. You didn't know what else to do but laugh. You were kind of like, whoa, I've never experienced this level of sort of lack of social awareness.
And then you almost wonder, like, is he in on the joke? Is the joke that this
It
is
was
so
so
inappropriate?
crazy.
And you're like trying to figure out the intention behind
in that way, not to be this Chevy sympathizer, but I do think there really was this aspect of him feeling very disconnected from our cast.
Yeah.
He was much older than anyone in the cast. I think he was very competitive with Joel because Joel represented like what he used to be as an actor.
the leading man.
And he was famous at a time when the leading man was super macho and got all the hot chicks.
Yeah, Fletch.
And
Every
the
woman
sense
loved
of
him.
humor of movies in the 80s was slightly off color in a way that's not so great now.
I am not excusing anyone's behavior. I'm simply what I've noticed, which I am sympathetic to, even though I don't approve of any of the behavior. I am very sympathetic to people who formed their comedic take in an era that no longer can exist. Because I just think how scary that all your go-tos are gone and you're already probably feeling maybe less than relevant. Now you add on that the stuff that was funny for 30 years is just simply not funny anymore.
Yes.
And so I ended up feeling a little, I know of several people that are just, whatever, they're 15 years older than me and they're having a hard time transitioning.
Totally. As a cast, we would make very inappropriate off-color jokes, not racist jokes.
Right.
But mostly self-deprecating, like in a way that was fine.
Yes.
And when Chevy tried to join in, sometimes I think he would say something super outrageous just to be like, see, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. And we'd be like, you don't totally understand maybe
Right.
the bit that we're doing.
If you start talking
it's slightly
about
different than you being like, you're a Jew bitch or something, like it just doesn't land the right way. But
now, we've talked about it on here because we were so fascinated with the Dan Harmon podcast he did, both admitting and trying to amend his sexual harassment of someone.
sure.
I know it's weird to give someone a compliment for something ultimately was a bad behavior.
The accountability that he ended up taking, it seemed
so rare.
It seemed rare in this day and age, what's been going on. I feel like most people haven't been able to apologize correctly.
Sure.
And he did do it seemed to me, on the outside, a good job of apologizing, but not excusing any of the stuff he did.
No, Deva, I didn't listen to the podcast.
Oh, you didn't? We by the way, we only heard it because it was an episode of This American Life.
Well, I did read, I think, some of because I guess who I would like to give props to is Megan Gans, who is the woman in question.
Thank you. Yeah.
And above everything, her willingness to be open to hear his apology.
100%.
And I feel like that's something that we're not witnessing a lot, is that no one's getting closure because all this stuff is so difficult.
Yeah.
And people are not really apologizing and they're not taking ownership of their behavior in the right way. And also people are so hurt by what has happened to them that they're not in a place to hear it either.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of beautiful things about that exchange on both sides.
Big time.
Definitely.
And I more ended up reading about it because of Megan Gans maybe tweeting out to say, like, this is the right way to apologize. And I accept his apology. And I was like, wow, this is all very healthy and people actually achieved closure here.
No, I think they're like a real example of
Yeah.
like how to move beyond something horrific. I think in her first tweet, like he had a kind of, half-ass
Lackluster.
apology. And she was like, yeah, this doesn't do it for me, which I thought was really cool as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not advising anyone in any direction, but just witnessing that and the way they both took it, is hugely inspirational for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But what year did he leave? Year 4?
Yes. So we did 3 seasons, and then Dan was fired, and he was not there for our 4th season, and then he was rehired, and he was back for our 5th
For the
season,
basement
and then the
season.
show was canceled, and then he was still there for the basement season.
Okay.
So there was the 5th season, the final season at NBC, and then.
Now, when you would do press, as you're expected to do when you're on a TV show, and it was around his firing, was every question about that?
I don't really remember what it was like doing the press for that. I sort of more just remembered the emotional implications of the whole situation because for the first couple seasons of the show, we all just idolized Dan, and he was kind of like our alcoholic dad.
Right.
More than Chevy. Chevy was like crazy grandpa, funny behavior, just laugh it off. It's fine. What are we going to do? But Dan, because I think we really admired what he was doing with the show, it felt very different from a normal network comedy.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have known it to read the pilot.
No,
To read the
yeah,
pilot,
yeah.
you're like, this is so smart. The writing is great. It's super funny. But then it morphed into this other really special, really cool thing.
Yeah.
And we all were so connected to that and connected to the fans. And so there was just like this really cool,
The fans for that
harmonious
show,
thing.
above all others, I think, were
To
like
this
rabid.
To this day, more than any other thing, the
Yeah.
community fans, I feel like, are behind me. But so then in the 3rd season, the first step was that the show got pulled off the air while we were still shooting. So they stopped airing the show, but we were still filming the episodes. And that was the first sort of major worry and concern of like, are we going to get canceled?
Right.
And we all just loved each other so much, but we were working crazy long hours and Dan's behavior was becoming pretty
More and more
erratic. But we all still had this like intense loyalty to Dan.
Yeah.
So when he got fired, it was more, I think, felt like we were all just in this deep depression of having to continue to do the show without him.
The leader.
If anything about press, I think the hardest thing was not being able to say anything disparaging about like our new showrunners that were coming in who we didn't, who were fine.
Nobody could have come in, I'm sure.
No, and honestly, they were hired specifically by the network, I think, with the objective of making the show more commercial, more accessible to people who hadn't seen the show. Whereas we were on a train of just getting more and more insular. Hey, if you haven't started watching yet, you are not going to get this show. Because we've started making it just for the fans of this show. So, shooting season 4, it just felt like we had all been abandoned, having to still make this thing that felt very hollow and not like the thing that we loved.
When I interviewed Ronan Farrow, we talked about why are we so hardwired to kind of protect people that we love that are flawed?
Yeah.
And I was theorizing in that episode that I do think we get trained by our parents. And it's like your work environment starts mirroring a little bit your family environment where it's like, yeah, dad's not perfect. He's far from it, but I love him and there's this loyalty.
Sure.
And I feel like that's why we're all kind of so perfectly engineered to exist in what can often be like dysfunctional work situations. Because you're like, oh yeah, I know what role I'm supposed to play in this because I did it in my family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in that way, I probably take on, or used to, the people pleaser role, make light of it. And sort of what you were saying, I think, about protecting an older person from being embarrassed or not feeling cool and like they're part of the group or I don't know. Well, I also think that there's something in our business that's like the show must go on and let's do everything we can to protect more the material and the thing we're making above all.
Yeah.
And this is changing now in a way of like, no, people should also have a voice and feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
And I find that even my mindset sometimes is still slightly dated.
In the old paradigm.
A little bit where
Yeah.
like, on Glow, it's just so female forward. We have female showrunners. We have all these women on the show and everyone, we have just a lot of feminist energy of people being like, this isn't right or we should fight against this. And a lot of the time I'm like, should we? This is sort of the reality of making a show. Like in some instances I'm like, yes, absolutely. I mean, of course I'm always going to support the women and I want everyone to feel good and feel
yes,
heard.
Yes. But
And
it's
this
also
is not about sexual harassment or anything
no,
like
no.
that. But even from the smallest thing of like,
Well,
they're
let's
not
start-
serving this at lunch. We all have to rise up. And I'm like, I don't know if we need to rise up about that.
Well, also, let's acknowledge that it's one of the last functioning dictatorships on planet Earth. A movie set's a dictatorship. There's a
Totally.
director whose whatever that person says is what everyone else should execute. It's kind of like the military.
Sure.
So for the whole thing to function, there's a little bit of like, well, no, not everyone's voice will be heard because that's not the nature of the way this ship runs.
Totally. And then you get very good at honing the skill of being whatever somebody wants you to be.
Uh-huh.
And it's sort of like hard to break out of that mindset of like, can't you guys all just be who they want you to be? I'm very good at it. I've been working on it for years.
So in Netflix in general, like one of the things that we think is cool about them is they pay for you to freeze your eggs.
The
If you're a
company
woman.
itself, not actors, but like they pay for
Well,
their.
they probably would.
I don't think so. I don't
You
want to
should
put that
ask.
claim out there, but my friend works for Netflix and they paid for her to freeze her eggs and they pay for
That's
I don't know what's like
awesome.
allowed to be said about them, but they also pay for Ubers for all their employees to
Sure.
and from work.
Sure. I love working for Netflix. I mean, I feel like the way they support creative people is unparalleled.
I agree. They have that tech mentality where it's like, we're going to pay the people who know what they do to do the thing they know how to do, and we're not going to micromanage.
And then just let them do it.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
I feel like when they give notes on Glow, they give very smart notes.
Right.
And they really just let people do. And they're such champions of diversity and telling all different types of stories and giving people a chance. Like, I don't know. I love it. I work on a lot of stuff for Netflix these days.
Well, it's also because they have so much content. They know that they can have niche stuff. So they don't
Yeah.
feel like I need to be in there and I need to make sure that this is appealing to everyone. And they don't care because they have that show that will do that and this show that will
Exactly.
do that.
Rather than having 6 shows that appeal to everyone, they're like,
Exactly.
we'll just have 56 shows.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
One other thing I was going to add about the potential crazy cast member is, which is also, I think, changing and evolving, is there was also this like tolerance for people's crazy behavior because they were geniuses and because no one really understands how a certain person does what they do. You know, if you're really getting into these niche performers who are kind of like world class, you're kind of like, well, I don't know what they need to do that.
Sure.
So there's always been this kind of huge tolerance for people's eccentricities so that they'll do this weird thing that not a lot of people can do.
Definitely.
But I feel like more and more that's getting well, I think the market has changed in that, well, now there's 1,100 shows on the air. So people
Yeah.
are far more replaceable than they've ever been, I think.
The tolerance is lower. Definitely. And I again, Glow has been a great example of that. Our showrunners and creators, Liz Flahive and Carly Mensch, are just the coolest. I mean, they're the greatest people and they're great bosses and they've been so amazing to work for because they're incredible writers. It truly is the first time where I've been like, oh, you can be good, normal, accessible people who have an open working relationship with the people around you and still be geniuses.
Yeah.
Because I think the level of work that they're churning out, I'm a little biased, is excellent, you know?
Yeah.
And this, I think, also just comes with the longer that you work in this industry, you have a luxury of being a bit more choosy about your jobs. But it's something
Yeah.
I talk about a lot with my husband these days. He's an actor as well. And
Oh, he's the most charming guy on the planet,
So cute.
Dave Franco.
Charming.
God, do I like him.
he's the best.
From the first time I ever saw him in something, I'm like, I think I love this guy.
He's wonderful.
And then I met him in real life, and that fucking smile of his. I have to imagine he can get out of anything. I feel like you could come home and he could be holding a severed head, and if he did that smile where his eyes
I'd be
kind
like,
of
where should we bury the head?
honey, oh,
Honey, not on the rug. But it's true. He's very attractive, and he's also very talented.
You guys met in 2012.
Yeah, I think so. In February, we will have been, married for 3 years and together for 8 years. We met at Mardi Gras.
Oh, I know this. How do you meet at Mardi Gras?
Well, I was with my friend Jules,
Yes.
who is a mutual friend of ours, and he was shooting Now You See Me, the first movie.
Okay.
And he was shooting in New Orleans, came home, and then was like flying back to keep shooting. And I was just going for Mardi Gras.
wow.
With a couple of my friends, with Joe Russo, and like, it's,
Okay.
you know, just a group of friends. We used to do these Mardi Gras trips every so often.
Uh-huh.
And so we ran into him at the airport, and my friend Jules invited him to dinner with us. And he actually said no, he had plans. And then we landed there. And
Wait,
it was,
real quick. When you saw him and he had been invited to dinner, were you thinking?
didn't clock it at all. Nothing.
Okay,
I was
okay.
so single. I had been in a very intense relationship for 4 years, and then I had been out of that relationship for almost a year. I refer to it often as my drunkest year. I was very single, very intoxicated, having been with a very controlling person, and was now just like, I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
To my own detriment some of the
wow.
time. Season 3 of Community, I've never looked more bloated.
Puffy?
You can tell the puffiness is real. But so I was just kind of playing everything a bit fast and loose, and I
Good for
really...
you. For the first time in your whole life?
No, I mean, well, just to bring everything back around, no, I would say that when I first went to college, having had in high school a very serious boyfriend for all of high school, that when I got to college, I just like had a lot of sex.
Oh, good for you.
I think I was just, it was really kind of me discovering like, oh, people want to have sex with me.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Because I wasn't like a hot girl in high school, even though I was having a great experience.
Yes.
I was a little alternative. Like I said, I cut all my hair off that one year. Then I had a weird mullet as I tried to grow it out. You know, when I had my one boyfriend who had been my best friend and then was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
There was a brief breakup where I dated like a very edgy guy that people said did heroin, which sounded very cool.
yeah.
Then I got back together with the safe boyfriend. So when I got to college, I mean, I realize now it's more just that everyone in college will have sex with anyone that wants to have sex.
Yeah.
But it was like a fun sort of like, I have a body. Like I
Yes.
have a sexual energy. Let
Yeah.
me use it.
Yeah.
And we were in theater school. It was Cal Arts. I've talked about this before. I feel like on all my first late night appearances that I used to really run around naked a lot. I was a big nudist at school.
Oh, great.
And just was having fun with all of that type of stuff. Day one, you're like signing up for classes, and some guy is like, "Hey, do you want to like come back to my room and hang out? Let's give each other massages."
Oh, wow.
And so there was like also a curve of like my own naivete, then blending into the sex thing, being like, "Oh my god, totally." So then me and you know,
Gave each other shiatsus.
Eric gave each other massages. But so like I feel like my whole time at college, it was a lot of kind of figuring that out. And being experimental and doing all the things with sex and drugs and all that
I'm
stuff.
so happy for you.
So there was that renaissance. So I wouldn't say that this breakup I would say in my 20s, I would say I really lived to my fullest all throughout my 20s, which was a big problem with this controlling boyfriend.
Right, sure.
But more than ever, I had probably gone relationship to relationship a lot, especially
but
starting at the end of college.
I'm actually happy for you.
Now, as
that
I'm in, my later 30s, and I have friends in their early 40s, or people who I'm watching going through, like,
That they didn't
I
do
never
that.
did drugs, and now I got to do all the drugs, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm so glad I already did all the drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do all the drugs. I mean, and some stuff's coming back around. People are microdosing mushrooms a lot lately,
yeah,
and I'm on board.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was in a mode anyway. I was definitely in party mode, and we were on our way to Mardi Gras. So he gets invited, and it's really not on my radar because there's other stuff going on. He's a couple years younger than me. He's not a person, I just wouldn't have been like, oh, obviously.
Yeah.
I just didn't really clock it. We were sort of like, yeah, of course, invite him to dinner or whatever you want. She was like, oh, I can't come. Fine. We get to New Orleans. It's pouring rain. He can't go. He had plans to go to a parade with friends. It's canceled. We all go to dinner.
Like a rom-com.
It actually is a very sweet story. We all go to dinner. We're getting wasted. And we have this like joke because that Davey's going to come to dinner. So we've like saved him a seat and we've been piling food on his plate. He's a King Davey. And finally he arrives.
Can I ask what kind of drunk you are? Like, are you super good time Charlie?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, there have been periods of my life where a little too like, I'm going to hang with everyone and drink the same amount as like large male friends.
Sure. Yeah.
blackouts that were just, I was like, oh, wow, I can't maybe drink as much as that person.
Have you read Talking with Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell's new book?
Well, I just listened to the audiobook.
Did you finish it?
Yes.
Okay, so that chapter on how white women have been increasing their drinking over the last 3 decades to match white males in college.
It's
It's weird. It's
fascinating.
it's only white women who have been doing this. And that 8 drinks over 4 hours will predictably result in a blackout for women, but not for men.
I found that chapter so interesting and terrifying. And often I feel this way where I reflect on my behavior in my 20s and I'm like, I'm so lucky.
Oh.
Like the situations, and I tried to be safe enough that I was always around friends and I was never sort of by myself.
Right.
Getting too out of control. But it was a terrifying chapter, especially even, but I'm so fascinated even by the science of a blackout.
Yes.
Because I've had, the craziest blackout, and it was actually right after I met Dave, and it sort of marked the end of my like really heavy drinking.
End of blackouts.
It was like, if I was with friends, we went wine tasting at Malibu Wines.
Oh, that'll get ya.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And then did a whole sort of thing. And
I've
I
been there.
I like woke up the next morning. I had scratches down the side of my neck, like bleeding.
Oh boy.
I was like, what happened to my neck?
Did anyone see what
And they
happened
were
to my
like,
neck?
they were like, you fell. I was like, that's not a reasonable explanation for this scenario. So then I was looking on my phone. I was kind of like doing detective work of who did
Sure.
I call? Who did I see? Blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, I'm on a set with Martin Starr. I was doing this little guest spot on some show and Martin arrives and I'm like, Martin, oh my God, I saw that I called you Saturday. Look at my neck. Isn't this crazy? You'll never believe this story. It's so wild. And I'm like, I hope I didn't say anything embarrassing when I called you. And he was like, are you joking? And I was like, what did I say? And he was like, Allison, I came over to your friend's house and hung out with you for 2 hours on Saturday. And I was like, well, do you know how the scratches got on my neck? It's like, no, they were already there. But I was like, God, that's terrifying. Like I was just a functioning person.
Yeah. Well, how about they told
But
the
then
story?
my memory was wiped.
They told the story of the guy who's missing 4 days.
4 days.
And then the other fascinating thing about blackouts, the science of it, is that you would imagine that if you were going to have memories, they'd be related to whatever high stress or high stakes or something very memorable. Not the case at all. They did this experience where they showed these guys, like they offered them dinner, they made this plate, they took the lid off and there was 3 dead mice on the plate. The guys didn't remember that.
Yeah.
They remembered other things, like there was a pencil on the desk. You know, like
Interesting.
completely not related at
That
all.
your mind
to,
will just block out everything
Yeah.
indiscriminately.
and you would think like, oh, but I would remember falling off a truck or
I'd
something.
remember a
Scratching
trauma. I'd
Your,
remember
Yeah.
maiming myself.
That's crazy.
And it doesn't work that way.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I'm a pretty fun drunk. That's what I was going to say. It's just never a good feeling to have to rely on secondhand testimony of like what happened to you or what you were involved in. Not a good feeling. I have to say, it's a testament to Davey that we have formed this relationship because that blackout I just described, during that blackout, it was probably like 4 or 5 days after we had met.
Okay. Okay.
And he still to this day has voicemails from me where I'm like, I'm just calling, I just like you. I just really like you. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about you. You're just like so cute. Like, I really like you. And I remember calling him the next day and being like, hey, I'm just not sure what I said. And so I'm just not sure what my level of embarrassment should be on this call. Please inform me. But
Okay. So,
You
but
stacked up
he
the
did
nachos.
make it to the dinner. I'm assuming.
so he makes it to the dinner and we're all having a blast. And he's sitting like across the table. We're not next to each other. He's sitting next to my friend Jules. So Jules texts me under the table after he's been there for a little while. She texts me under the table and is like, you should hook up with Davey tonight.
Sure.
And I text her back, yes, please. Like, just like a million exclamation points. I'm like, would love that. So she shows him my text under the table.
Oh, okay.
wow.
And she's like, what do you think? So she's like, don't tell her that I showed you this text message. And he's like, of course. So a few minutes later, she and I get up to go to the bathroom. And she's like, so maybe you and Dave. And I was like, I mean, I'm into the idea. I don't know that he would be into this idea. And she's like, I showed him your text under the table. He's totally on board.
Oh my goodness.
She's like, don't tell him that I told you that I showed him. But it was the best setup because then we both leave the restaurant with a sexy secret. And the sexy secret is, I know that you're down.
Yes.
So we get to the next bar.
Oh boy.
And we're just kind of like in a good mood.
Yeah.
And friends of mine had brought Molly. So like now I'm, imbued with the confidence that I know that he's on board and I'm already in like single mode.
Yeah.
So I just went up to him at the bar and was like, so I have Molly in this beer. And I think that you and I should share this beer and have a great night together.
Allison,
What do you think?
This is my dream. This is my dream scenario.
And he was like,
A pretty girl coming up to you and saying, I have some Molly in this beer.
It does sound
I think
like
we
your
should
dream
share
scenario.
a beer and a great night.
Oh,
And what did he say? He said, yeah,
He
duh.
said, yeah.
oh my
And
gosh.
then every other photo for the rest of the night is us in the firmest lip lock
Yes.
you could imagine.
Eating each other's
Not
faces off.
coming up for air for 2 days.
Oh.
I definitely pulled the left his place and accidentally had his shirt. So then we saw each other again the next day.
Ooh.
It was a real whirlwind.
Here's my only fear in this whole scenario
Yes.
is it's going to be hard to top that or even now meet that first night. Like you guys have set the bar
true.
incredibly high.
On the one hand, my friends had a lot of Molly. So
Okay,
the next
great,
day,
great.
I
Okay.
was just like, still on Molly.
More beer, more
Okay.
Molly.
I actually feel like he arrived to get his shirt back / hang out. I'm still on Molly, but we're out of Molly for you. But hang out. And then at the end of the trip, I had this silver mask, this silver Mardi Gras mask that I wore the whole weekend. It didn't come off of my head. It was very gross. And when I left, I wrote a little note on it for him and my phone number, and I stuck it in his bag.
Yeah.
And then when I landed back, the whole thing was so fun because I was such in a mode that even having that weekend together, I was like, this was just a fun, great weekend with this fun, cute guy, the best.
Can I also say too, probably is you have that experience. And if I'm you or I'm him, I'm like, well, that was my big hurrah.
Yeah.
Does this dude do Molly every night, or does this chick do Molly every? So it's half of it would be that was so fun, and then also how into
definitely.
this is this person?
Well, the part that Davey likes to say when we tell the story is and we haven't done that since.
Right,
That, and that was the last time. It's not like we were doing this all the time. Exactly. It was very not indicative of our regular personalities.
Yes.
But I remember then he sent me some text messages as I was getting on the plane to leave, and they were funny and we were joking around. And then I landed in LA and he sent me this text, which doesn't make any sense, but it was a photo of this painting that had been in the place where he was staying. And he had put our faces, it was just such a funny, he had put our faces, superimposed our faces into this picture that was a ribbon on a stick. It was a painting that we had kept talking about, being what is this fucking painting?
Yeah.
And I got off the flight and had this text from him, but it was so funny and so my sense of humor, in the sober light of day.
Yeah.
And I had this horrible feeling in my stomach of oh no.
I like
think I
it.
know.
Oh no, this could go really bad now. And then we had a really traditional courtship because he was in New Orleans shooting for the next 5 weeks, and we just had phone call. We would call each other every night, talk for an hour. What movies do you like? What music?
Oh, I
Who
like
are
this.
you?
It's junior high.
And then we met up in New York. So then the movie took him to New York, and I had just started this cover band with my girlfriends, and we were going to New York to play our first show.
Oh my goodness.
When he was
Can I
gonna be
ask
there.
what are you singing?
Singing. It was basically my friends have a band, Jones Street Station, and they're a bluegrass band. And they
Okay.
said, hey, why don't you come and open for us? I was like, I don't have a band.
Right.
But they were friends with Danny Pudi from Community, and sometimes Danny and I would go and sing songs at their shows. We'd get up on stage and sing with them.
Oh, fun.
So we put together this whole thing where me and my two girlfriends, Jules and Serena, had this band, The Girls, and we would open for the band. So we would break down songs into 3-part harmonies and just whatever we wanted to do, Bruce Springsteen and like, I don't know, all different type of stuff. And our friends on Jones Street would back us up. And so we would open for them with them playing for us.
Right.
And then they would play their show after.
And did you invite him?
So
I would be so nervous.
well, I was like, you're going to be shooting in New York and I'm going to be there for this show on the weekend. Why don't I come out 4 days early and we can spend time together in New York and I'll get my own hotel room.
Yeah.
So I have autonomy, and this and that. And that was like the second part of our courtship where now we had done, well, aside from our first wild weekend.
Sure, of doing everything. Yeah.
Then we did very sweet phone calls, getting to know each other. Then in New York, he had all this per diem from the movie and was whining and dying. Every day was like, I'll pick you up at your hotel. We'll go to the park. I got a beautiful basket of wine and cheese. We'll have a picnic in the park. Then we'll go to WD-50 and do a tasting menu with the wine pairings. And
My goodness.
boy.
it was very like whining.
Monica
and
is in
dying.
love.
I am.
Just dates. So he came to the show, yes. And also before
Were you
the
nervous
show,
about that or no?
Well, it was also I was nervous for the whole show.
That's what I'm
my
saying. Now you
goodness.
add in this guy.
Before the show, he sent me these 2 Alabama Shakes songs.
Oh, I love
One of
Alabama.
which is like our song. Anyway, he sent me these songs that were like, you're going to be great. The show's going to be great. The show went great. It was so fun. Anyway, at the end of the New York trip, his movie, they're going to finish the movie in Paris.
Oh boy.
So we're like, all right, I'm not going to see you now for like 2
What
weeks.
movie is this? Is he in a James
was-
Bond movie? Jesus.
It's called Now You
Paris,
See
New York.
Me. They did 2 of them. They did Now You See Me
Oh,
and Now You See Me
the-
2.
yes,
They're
yes,
like
the magician.
It's like
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg. So it was like our goodbye in New York was very like, okay, I'm not going to see you now for a couple weeks. Have a great time shooting in Paris. And then I get in the cab and then I find he's hidden in the hood of my sweatshirt a little piece of paper that has a drawing of the Eiffel Tower. And
No,
the
no,
two of
no,
us,
no,
it
no, no,
says,
no.
Come with me to Paris.
No.
He is a
Oh, my
romantic.
God.
This is.
So then I went to Paris and we fell in love.
Oh.
Oh my.
I regret marrying Kristen so much right now.
Oh my God.
I wish I would have married Dave Franco.
Me too.
Oh my lord.
Very romantic. It was very romantic. We locked a lock on that bridge where you lock love locks. They don't even have that bridge anymore. They cut them all down.
They did. Why?
I think it was weighing the bridge down in a dangerous way.
The love was
The structural
weighing it
integrity
down.
was taking it.
And then we got back to LA and moved in together like weeks later. I feel like right away. Because at the end of the Paris trip, we both were like, this could have gone horribly awry. Like, we still have maybe only known each other inside of 2 months.
But traveling together is a great way to find out if you're compatible with somebody, I think.
And in New York, I had my own hotel room. So
Yeah.
even if I would sleep at his place, we would have a break where I'd be like, I got to go home and shower and we'll
AKA
catch up
take a
again
dump.
tonight. Exactly.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to ask about that logistically. So you're just pooping in front of each other.
Well, because we were in someone's apartment in Paris, there might have been 2, like the bathroom. It's not like being in a hotel room where the toilet is like
A foot
next
from
to
the
your
bed.
bed.
Right. Okay.
In a big
So we
echo
had
chamber.
a little
Space.
space.
All right,
Yes.
all
But we
right.
definitely were both like, whoa, this went great. It could have gone horribly awry.
And
did
now,
not.
when you return to reality in the normal humdrum of life, did you have any kind of moment where you're like, oh, this isn't as, or just stayed wonderful?
No, everything was good. I feel
Okay.
like there was a slight, the re-entry of being like, now we're in LA.
Well,
Not that
just
it was less romantic, but it was just sort of like, because we had only spent time together outside of LA, the trips were very concentrated. We would see each other every day. Versus, when you start dating someone, there's that dance of like, I saw them on Saturday. Is it too? Will I see them again next weekend? You
Yeah.
seldom start dating someone and just immediately see them every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the only, but it wasn't too tricky, but I feel like it felt like once we were both back in town, it was a little bit like you wanted to be like, well, when am I are you coming over?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
we-
yeah. Separation anxiety.
Yeah. But the refreshing thing about the whole experience in meeting Dave and a thing that we often like look at each other and we're like, oh my God, we're so lucky, is that we both were really full on immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There were no games. There was no, we talked yesterday. Should I not text her? Should I not text him? Should we not
You were just your
talk
real
again?
self.
We both were like, hey, I really like you. That was a great talk. Should we talk again tomorrow? Yeah, I also want to do that. Like it was both of us were so in that it was really nice.
You had your guards down.
100%.
Oh, I like this. I like you guys as a couple. I want to see you together. I want to see you guys hold hands and stuff. Do you want to see that, Monica?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Bring
really.
him, call him, have him come
Have
over.
him come over. We'll just hold hands.
Exactly.
And then I'll release him.
All right. So I just wanted the one thing. There's two things I'm curious about with Glow. One is you have to learn all that wrestling.
Yeah.
And I bet if you're anything like me, I want to do all the stunts until I've done them 3 times, and then I'm like, I don't ever want to do this again. I proved I would do it, and now I don't want to do it again. What's your kind of relationship with all that?
I think not exactly that. Maybe by season 3, not 3 times, but 3 seasons, then it was like, okay, maybe I can put my ego aside and let our stunt doubles do the stunts more to protect my body.
Because you get hurt, right? Even if
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what I like to say is we don't get hurt,
okay.
but it hurts.
Oh,
No, but it's the truth because people will be like, do you ever get hurt? And I mean, God, knock on wood, it's like I've never had like a serious injury from the
you
wrestling
haven't like
on
broke
Glow.
anything.
No, I mean, or even really in my life except like my head.
Okay.
You know, I've had some head injuries.
Okay. And those scratches on the neck that we still don't know.
Those scratches on my neck. But so it's not like I'm having any severe injuries on Glow, but it hurts your body. You feel like after we shoot a match, the next day you feel like you've been in a car accident.
Yeah.
Like I'm Epsom salt baths and doing all that stuff. But I love it. You
do.
know, oh yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I've been strength training for a long time with my same trainer, Jason Walsh. And
Shout out to Jay Walsh.
oh man, just was with him before I came here. And he's like the ass doctor of LA. I feel like he's all about that butt.
Getting that pop back there.
Apple butt?
Oh yeah. And like as a person who's like never had a butt, like my family line is like a lack
Same.
of butt.
Same.
I wrestle with it.
I love
it's
it.
all I think about when I work out.
It's like if I take a few days off, if I take a week of strength training, I'm just doing cardio and stuff. I'm like, my butt,
Yeah.
my butt,
Yeah.
losing that ass. So anyway,
I just 4 nights ago insisted Kristen examine my legs and butt. And I was like, hon, I think I've added an inch or 2 to these things.
did she confirm?
And she goes, you really have. And it was great because she's not going to lie for me.
I
She's like,
agree. I
"Oh,
can
that's
tell
normal."
when I've been like really getting back into it with Jason or we're gearing up to do the show and Davey suddenly will be like, ooh, that ass. And I'm like, yes.
that ass.
So I'd been casually doing strength training with Jason for a long time, but like was really wanting. But then as I was getting more into it, I was kind of searching for that project where I was going to get to be really physical.
Yeah.
I had gotten close, or maybe not even really gotten close, but auditioned for some action-y movies and things
Yeah.
like that, and been like, if I book this movie, then they'll pay you.
Yeah.
And we can really go after it. And then that thing kind of turned out to be Glow. And even as I was auditioning for it, I was like, they would want us to do our real wrestling on this show. Let's get into this conditioning. And then when I booked the job, it was so fun to like really up the ante with him, which is totally outside of the show. They don't pay for it. They don't acknowledge it.
Right. Yeah.
But they were like, we want you guys to do your own stunts on the show. How comfortable do you feel with that stuff? And I was like, fuck yes.
Bring it.
I was just so excited. And it's always, I think one of the great joys of being an actor is getting to learn amazing things. And people
yeah.
do pay for you to do it. And you have this other incentive to
Yes.
get in great shape or to learn to wrestle. I never would be like, it sounds fun. Like it might be good for my
Big time wrestling.
ego to like learn WWE style wrestling.
Yeah.
And our first season, it was so fun to learn the wrestling together as a group.
Yeah. What a
because-
bonding exercise
Definitely.
for a
We have one
cast.
pro wrestler on the show, Kia Stevens,
Okay.
who wrestled as Awesome Kong, and she's been Karma on WWE.
She probably has a laundry list of injuries.
Definitely.
Yeah. Those people get hurt in that.
Definitely.
Yeah. People go, it's fake, and it is. But a lot of people have worse injuries from, quote, fake in wrestling than real wrestling.
I do not like the term fake in
Okay.
regards to wrestling, but I know what you're saying. Everybody
Yeah.
says that. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, yes, storylines are decided. Maybe people know who's going to win a match and who's going to lose the match.
Yeah.
But these people are elite athletes.
Oh, big
and
time.
not only that, they're often improvising, aside from knowing the outcome of a match,
Yeah.
are like doing the highest form of physical improv with another person. Or some of these guys who have been around a long time don't even totally, and they're just in the ring in the moment going, all right, I'm going to do a hip toss and then let's go into this. Like they're telling it to each other in their ear as they're going.
Did you watch the Andre the Giant documentary?
Yes.
Oh, was it great? Wasn't that
Fantastic.
wonderful? I've seen it twice now.
That's
we love
great.
it. Our favorite part is when the little announcer goes, when Andre would take a fart, it's like the fact that the farts were so big, he would refer to it as taking a fart. When Andre would take a fart, it would clear a room.
That did sound intense.
Take a fart. Now, I have another question, and I'm not even sure if this is a question I want to ask anymore. I want your opinion, but I was curious, is it different doing nudity on an all-female set where it's like the females are in charge versus the males are in charge?
I don't feel uncomfortable talking about the nudity on the show.
Okay.
I have found it to be a very empowering experience.
Yeah.
Great.
But Glow is my first time doing full nudity on a show.
Okay.
So I had never done it before
What thought
on like
went
a
in-
male-driven
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. What thought went into the whole decision?
Well, first of all, it was mandatory.
Right.
Well, very early on while auditioning for the show, I auditioned 4 times for the show. And so after my first 2 auditions, now they were about to fly me across the country to audition with Betty, the 2 of us together. And it was getting to that point where they were like, wait, we don't want you to do this. And we need to make sure you're aware. There is nudity in the show. We're asking all of the women to sign off on nudity. From a place of wanting to come at this show, it's a show about women's bodies in every form. We want, and also to come at it from a place of reality. If women are changing in the locker room, or, there's a sex scene in the very first episode. They're like, women don't, when they're having like a crazy affair, are they keeping on their bra?
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah. Holding the sheet up to their shoulder.
Right, exactly. Do they roll over and the sheet is just like togaed around them?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because up until that point, I had done actually non-nude sex scenes wearing a bra or other things that actually felt way
Weird.
crazier or something. But not unsafe in any way. But again, I had been such a nudist in college. So
Right.
always very comfortable with my body and happy with that. But very I only want to do nudity for the right project.
Sure.
Once it's out there forever. This was something especially while working on Community, I became very aware. It was like when I first started using Twitter, and I don't go on Twitter anymore. It was just such an awareness of the internet and the way that things are taken out of context and last forever.
And that there's just a lot of weird dudes at home on the computer.
And the way that people are consuming that stuff, right? It's like they don't even have to watch the whole movie. They can just jerk off to that at home, to that still. And I just was like, also, because the level of things I was auditioning for, if they had nudity, it was like, you could play prostitute number 4 in whatever. I was like, that to me doesn't feel like it merits my nudity. But I always kind of held out, if it's the right role, I would do it. But I had just never read something that I really thought was worth it.
Yes.
So when I read Glow, right away, I was so taken with the project on the whole, everyone that was involved, but also just the material. I loved it so much. I can't even describe. I just connected to the characters so deeply.
Yeah.
I wanted the job so badly. I knew there was nudity involved even before I auditioned. And then we had to have that kind of phone call before my third audition.
Well, you got to sign us a whole other side contract about the nudity, right?
Definitely, which is always funny because my lawyer is my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister.
Oh, really?
And so it's always funny to be like, hey, big bro. So tell them they can show full nipple, but no labia.
Yes. I had that conversation with my lawyer, and I was like, listen, just have it in writing, no anus. He's like, do you think they're going to show your anus? And I go, look, I'm
the cheeks.
I'm fully naked. I don't know, but I would rather my anus is never on screen.
Ooh,
so that was like a specific line, no anus.
That is good. That's good. You have to get specific. You never know
You don't
what
know.
angle.
You're writhing around. And as it turned out, they shot that scene from low on the floor looking up at the bed, and I was on top. And after the first take, the director came and put some sheet around my butt crack. I can only assume because everyone had seen my anus. That had to be a response to everyone at Video Village who saw my anus.
And what a fun! And then you're there for the rest of the scene, going, "Okay, so they've seen it.
Yes,
but
that they've
we're all
all
just
seen
gonna
it.
play it cool. We're all just gonna know.
That's 100% what was happening.
Well, and so I also with Glow, it was definitely like I signed off on it then with like a contingency of I want to have a conversation if I get the job with the showrunners,
What
even
it
more
actually
in depth
looks like.
about it.
Yeah.
and also their reasoning behind it, and really just have a frank conversation about what it is and that they're not going to be exploiting me and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And God, it was just so fun and fine.
Female director for that scene, the pilot?
No, it was Jesse Peretz,
Oh, okay.
a male.
Okay. A
He's-
male
he
member of the
directed,
male species.
He directed our pilot. He directed a lot of girls and stuff like
I was going to
that.
bring Girls up because I do feel like in a weird way, Girls was really instrumental in reminding people how it can be done correctly and the power of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there was this amazing vulnerability to her doing that all the time that made me just that much more interested in the character and the show and everything. Like it's
Definitely.
whether you're for it or against it, it is a powerful tool in the whole kit.
You know, there's a thing. I love Girls, and I agree, but I think there's something about saying that when they did it on Girls, it was vulnerable.
Well, she would have these breakup scenes bare naked. It was like, wow, she's
would.
not even like
She would.
covered.
But let me tell you, nobody said that when Emily Ratajkowski was naked in the whatever
Ben Affleck movie.
correct in the Ben
And it
Affleck
was
movie or
very
in the-
brave.
nobody was saying she was vulnerable.
But I
Like,
will say that there was something about the nudity young girls across the entire cast and men
true.
and women. And like I remember a scene with Gabby Hoffman where she's like in a shirt and no bottoms.
Totally.
Which is also, who Julianne Moore did do that in like a 90s movie. But there was a way about the way that they did nudity that wasn't about looking sexy, no matter
Totally.
what your body type. It wasn't saying, here's the female form only in a perfectly posed, perfectly toned, perfectly lit, sexy way.
yes.
I loved Girls and I loved the nudity on Girls, and I love watching nudity, not in a pervy way, but similarly. I feel like when it fuels the story and doesn't take you out of it.
Well, when I feel like I'm getting to see something I'm not supposed to see, that's the feeling I want. Like I'm actually
an
eavesdropping
intimate
or
moment.
I'm voyeuring, and that
Yes.
just lets me know, like, wow, no one can see that. It just adds a layer of
Reality or
stakes.
something.
Totally. And I think that my maturity and mentality and the way I was feeling about my body converged at the same moment of reading Glow and feeling like remembering that actually the truest form of myself is one that like is not ashamed of my body.
Yeah.
And especially as we're in an era of people's nude photos getting leaked on the internet and all of that stuff anyway, that it is a way to take the power back and do that sort of thing. And yes, I do think it made a difference doing it for women and knowing that they'd want to show bodies in all different types of ways. And even the way that our show has been cast with people with all different types of bodies and all different women of different ages and races. And
Yeah. Oh, I
it
like
is
what-
about representation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Glow, it's a wonderful show. You've done 3 seasons. You're going to do a 4th, which is very exciting for all of us.
Yes. Fourth and final.
Fourth
Now,
and final.
oh, it
Okay.
is?
It is.
4 and done.
Yeah.
What's that decision about?
It's
Who
a
knows?
Netflix decision.
Okay.
And it's bittersweet, of course, because
Yeah.
I love the show so much.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to get 4. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you're
Why
so
not
right.
do 4 amazing seasons of a show and be like, bye?
Totally.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's nice just to know going in that it's going to be our
Weren't
last.
you
and we
nominated
can-
for a Golden Globe for
Twice.
twice? Yeah. So like you got recognized. You got to do a fun, weird, interesting thing.
Sure. I feel like I've gotten more out of Glow than I've gotten out of any other job I've ever done in every aspect of saying that. Like
Yeah.
I have grown as a person. I feel more empowered mentally, physically. My relationship to my body changed in a major way. Like I made, I think, the best friend of my life in Betty Gilpin. And, I think that my acting has improved.
Yeah.
Like I've learned about myself as an actor. I've directed episodes. Well, an episode, but I'm going to direct another one in season 4. So I already feel like I'm leaving the show in such a better place even than I entered the show. To get to do one more season is just like,
Gravy.
yeah.
Now, have you written other movies, or was Horse Girl the first movie you wrote?
Horse Girl is the first.
It is. And what was so intriguing about this story that you had to sit down and write it?
Well, I co-wrote it with my friend Jeff Baina. I think there were a couple of factors, and one factor was honestly watching Dave. Dave just wrote and directed his first feature. So he co-wrote with Joe Swanberg, and it's called The Rental, and we shot it in the spring. I was in it.
Yeah.
And
you loved that experience. I saw you on
my
Kimmel.
God.
You like working with your husband, which
It
is...
was just the best.
Yeah.
It was the best. I hope that he and I can just work on only projects together for the rest of our lives.
We feel the exact same way.
I'm so glad. Also, I'm just like, you're my favorite person that I would choose to be around all the time. And
Yeah.
like when we're working, we're always apart usually. So
Yeah.
wait, great. Now I get to mix like my most favorite person in the world with like my most favorite thing to do. But more so, I guess, I was very inspired watching him write. Because there are certain ideas I've been kicking around for a long time, but I didn't really have the courage to write them down. And it also seemed very daunting to do that.
Yeah.
So to watch him with Joe and their rhythm that they got in, I was like, oh, maybe if I had a partner, then it would kind of like get me out of my own way and all that. So Jeff's a good friend of mine, Jeff and Aubrey both. And I had worked on The Little Hours with both of them, and Dave was in that as well.
Right.
And Jeff directed it. And so I often am just like hiking. Jeff and I go on long hikes all the time, very long hikes.
Okay.
And I was
What's
just
a
like,
really long hike? 2+ hours?
yeah.
Okay, wow.
We'll do like 7.5 miles. We'll hike for like 2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Dave is like, what could you possibly talk about for that long of a hike?
Yeah.
So we would talk about just every different type of thing. And on one of the hikes, I was like, I have this idea. Let me pitch you this movie idea. So, but going back before that, the impetus is that for probably my whole life since like high school, I'd wanted to write something stemming from the fact that my mother's mother, my grandmother, had paranoid schizophrenia.
Oh, uh-huh.
So I grew up
Which is
hearing-
hereditary.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So I grew up, I didn't know her. I didn't know my grandmother, but she was living on the street when I was
Oh.
in middle school, elementary school, middle school,
Wow.
before she passed away. And I really grew up with this mythology about her. My mother telling me many stories about her behavior and her paranoia and her talking to walls and believing that their house was bugged and
Sure.
the abuse that existed in their household. And
Yeah.
and even my mom always would be like, well, you're going to write a movie about it one day, thinking probably that I was going to write a more straightforward
Yeah.
movie in which I play my grandmother. And this movie is not that at all. So as I was watching Dave write his movie, and I was thinking, what is this movie I want to write about my family, about this
Yeah.
hereditary thing that exists in my bloodline that really scares me? But I started to examine more like, why do I want to tell a story about anything relating to my grandmother's schizophrenia? Like, how does it resonate to me?
Yeah.
And for me, it is this looming fear, right,
Yeah, yeah.
of something that's existing inside
having
your
the-
own body chemistry.
BRCA marker
so
or
even,
something.
we wrote it during the summer, during 2018, and shot it during the summer of 2019. So right before we wrote it, I was having bouts of deep depression, like more intense than I had ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really scary. As anyone who's been through deep depression
Yeah.
knows, you feel really helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels just like you may never get out of it. And
Yeah,
as much as your
overwhelmed.
rational brain is trying to like rationalize your way out of it, it feels impossible.
Well, the part of your body that's ailing is also the part that's supposed to monitor whether or not
fixing-
you're ailing. So it's kind of...
And then I started to have this sort of irrational anger at my grandmother and my mother, and sort of like
Sure.
started to sit there being like, well, this is because you guys fucking passed this on to me. Now I'm trapped in a making of my own mind.
Yeah.
So that was the impetus of me saying, as a person with a familial history of mental illness, it scares me to think that what if I started to experience some weird things and I didn't have the power to know if it was real or not real.
Yeah.
And so that is sort of what the story is about a socially isolated woman, very different from myself, her set of circumstances,
Yeah.
who used to ride horses and is still very much kind of like mentally sort of stuck in the past of a
Right.
better time. And she starts to have these weird dreams and sort of waking up in weird places, not sure how she got there. And she sort of has trouble discerning where the line lies of reality.
Yeah. So it's a drama.
It's sort of a surreal psychological thriller.
Okay.
So the way that Jeff Baena does his movies, he writes them and directs them, but the scripts are like 30-page outlines, and then the dialogue is improvised. And that's what we did for this movie as well. So we had about a 35-page outline, but that's very detailed. Like
Yeah.
scene to scene, you're saying this person's coming in and the conversation is about this, and then they talk about this, and then they go here. You know, it's very detailed. It's sort of a misnomer to even call it improv. I mean, it is in that there is no scripted dialogue.
Right.
But we're very specific about the scenes.
All the beats
I would
within
more
the-
call it collaborative dialogue because it's more like during the wide shot, we improvise a little, but basically we lock into the dialogue after a couple takes in the wide, and then it's as if it's scripted.
Right.
And sometimes
that
our
sounds very
script-
fun to shoot.
It does.
It's super fun. I mean, Debbie Ryan's in it, John Reynolds.
we had
There we had a
Debbie
great
Ryan.
cast. We did it for Netflix. We did it with the Duplass brothers.
Oh,
Produced it.
sure. When does that come out?
February 7th.
February 7th on Netflix. Horse Girl.
How dare you?
I mean,
I was
She's not a
Horse Girl.
superhero.
You know what happened is in my head I thought horse girl, and I'm in such a habit of reminding myself to stop using the word girl, and then I self-corrected this to horse woman. But it is horse girl. In this case, you can say girl. I can't wait to see that. That's a very exciting premise, and
I'm very proud of it.
and so Netflix on February 7th. Well, Allison, I'm so glad you came and chatted with us. It's so fun to meet
for
you.
having me. I feel like you guys are in my head all the time as I listen to every episode of this podcast.
That makes us so happy
So
and
happy.
flattered.
just the happiest.
Glow last season, check that out. And Horse Girl, that'll be out shortly. So we'll need you to come back, I'm sure, with something else.
bring your
with a
back
boy
with
and
Dave
hold
and we'll hold
hands.
hands.
Correct.
the
I could just do an
whole
episode
time.
where I watch you guys kiss and hold hands and
He would never
reassure
go
each
for
other.
it.
He
He's
won't.
so shy.
Okay.
And I'd be like, let's do it.
Get your pants off, Dave. All right. Well, Allison, thank you so much. And come back soon. And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
Alison Brie.
Allison Brie. What a...
I enjoyed her.
Me too.
You know, I met her once.
You did?
Yeah.
And you didn't tell her?
I did before we recorded.
Where did you meet her?
So,
At your marketing job in Georgia?
no, that's Rain.
Yeah, okay.
Only Rain. Allison was having a Halloween party at her friend's house.
Oh.
Actually, it was the girl that set her up with Davy.
Ooh.
Yes, there. Yeah, is that spooky sounds? So they had a Halloween party, and I somehow ended up there
Yeah.
with my own friends.
Oh, wow.
I think I went to that party 2 years,
No kidding.
and one of the years I was so drunk, like maybe the drunkest I've ever been in my life.
Wow. I'm not shocked it happened on Halloween.
I
That
know,
seems
so
to be-
cliche.
It seems to be when people get drunkest.
Oh my god, I got so drunk and I puked.
At the party.
Not at that party. So we ended up at a couple parties.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my god, it was
I hope
so
you were driving.
embarrassing. I was not driving, thank God. Anyway, it was a bad night.
Okay, and you puked everywhere.
Puked all over
Oh, my
everybody.
God. Were you embarrassed in the moment, or you're too fucked up to even care?
I think I was still even embarrassed in the
Okay,
moment.
that sounds like, this is on brand.
It was awful. And then I never drank again. And that's my sober story.
Oh, my God, that was your bottom.
Yeah. No, then I ended up at that party again, and I was Dora the Explorer.
Uh-huh.
My best costume I've ever been. I had a wig. I had a backpack.
Oh, that's great. It'd been fun if you went as like Monica from last year and you showed up with fake puke on your shirt and stuff.
Oh my god!
prank
so
vomit.
embarrassing. I'm so glad I didn't puke at that party because I would have never been able to invite Allison into this attic if that had happened. I would have been too ashamed.
Or you could have invited her and made an amends. Like one day we're going to talk to Cameron Diaz and I'll publicly make my amends for talking to her in a blackout on the phone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just clear it all up, clear the air,
Okay.
you know?
I like that idea.
Did you interact with her at all at either of these Halloween bashes?
I think I remember she was dressed as a member of the curling team, the
Oh,
Olympic
fun.
curling
The
team.
Canadian curling team.
And she had like a mop as the curling thing, a curling tool,
Yeah, that's what
curler. We did have some short interaction about that.
Right.
I don't really remember it. Anyway, so I met her and it was really exciting.
Now, do you know that at one time I mobilized the curling community against me? Do you know this?
What?
Yeah. So right when Parenthood was about to premiere, we piggybacked on the Olympics. That was
Right.
our lead-in,
Right.
which is a dream because it was like the most viewers NBC had in years.
Yeah.
And so we were doing a lot of different red carpet events. And I want to say I was in an interview with Lauren Graham. They asked me about what my favorite Olympic event was and everything, and then any I don't like. And I said, well, this whole curling thing, I don't know how that's a sport. You're great at sweeping. That's the thing. And I was making jokes about how would you discover you're good at it? Like you're just mopping up the kitchen one day after everyone ate, and you're like, oh my God, am I fast and good at this?
Oh,
And that they don't actually even dress like athletes. They're kind of just like in sweats. And so I went on a whole thing. I was just being funny. I don't know. It
God,
felt like
your
an
jokes
easy.
are dangerous.
Well, then people were mad that loved
Upset.
curling. And
Were the curlers mad? Are they called that?
they must be. I think some of them, were mad. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just joking. I don't have an opinion on curling for real that I care about. It is funny that there's a lot of mopping that happens in it.
Well, I don't actually think it's mopping. They wouldn't like
there's
that you said that.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
sweeping. Anyways, I've angered a few communities over the years. Speaking of community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've angered a couple communities. The diabetes community, too. Do you know this?
Because you keep calling it diabetes?
Well, no, that's actually not the reason.
Okay, then why?
Well, I one time made an analogy. People were mad at my wife for saying she smokes weed around me.
Oh.
And I said, that's ridiculous. So people were mad at her. And I was coming to her defense. And I said, this would be like if I was diabetic and married someone and was furious at them that they ate cake around me. Pretty innocuous. And so what happened was all the type 1 people were so mad that I was perpetuating this notion that people give themselves diabetes.
Well, so you don't give yourself alcoholism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And so they were very mad, and that's fine. I think it's still a funny analogy. But after years, because some people won't drop it, I'll occasionally get tweets still from angry type 1 diabetics who have family members that are type 1. I'm very sympathetic. And what's really interesting is the more I've thought about it, because this is years ago now, what's really happening is, if they want to be dead honest, they're so mad they're getting confused as type 2 diabetics. So it's really them who are just, the thought of being associated with the type 2 diabetics is so infuriating that I think it's on them. It's not on me.
Okay.
Like, that's what they're saying. And they're like, it's not about cake. I know that. It's about carbohydrates. I know about insulin. I know there's nothing, there was no lack of understanding when I made that joke. People were like, we can eat cake. Yeah, okay, great. You can eat cake, but then you're going to have to regulate with some insulin.
You still shouldn't
There's
eat
a real
it.
thing here. It's
Yeah.
not like I imagined this.
Nice. My grandfather has it.
This is probably going to reignite
Open
the
up like
ire against me.
Open up the diabetic can of worms.
Yeah.
Can of cake.
But I really probably, my other conclusion is it was 5 people with 25 accounts that tweeted me 3,000 times. And it felt like a bunch of people.
Yeah. That's
But anyways,
not very many people.
I still like the analogy. I'm sorry. I'm also very sympathetic to anyone with diabetes. Terrible disease to have. I feel terrible, and I hope it gets cured. And also, if you're married to a diabetic and you eat cake, whatever.
The analogy is a little tricky, not because of that. I think diabetics should not be upset by that.
Yeah.
But I can't tell people how to feel. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I married someone sober, I would not be like drinking every night next to them or
Why?
doing drugs, and well, for a couple reasons. One, they can't share in that experience.
Okay.
So then you're just by yourself doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I mean, I drink around you all the time, but I don't like the idea of, oh, I have something you can't have, or maybe this thing I have is tempting to you. Like, I'd much rather just not have it.
Well, but a couple things. One, if it's tempting to me, I am not working a program. it should not be tempting to me. I've been relieved of the obsession to drink alcohol because of this program, and I have been. So if I'm desiring alcohol, that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me.
I know.
Secondly, because I'm a fuck up does not make you a fuck up that has to change your behavior.
No, but it's not like, I have to. Like, I guess I can't drink this alcohol. It's not that. It's just,
The only part I
why
agree
would
with
I
is-
make life harder on you if I love you?
Well, but it wouldn't make life harder. The one thing that you're right about that I agree with and was an issue in a previous relationship was if you enter into a zone that I'm not in, now we're not really sharing the same experience. Like our memory of the dinner out, if you have 6 drinks, and my memory, they're just totally different. We didn't really share the same experience.
Yeah.
So that part, I understand. If you have a desire to be on the same level and experiencing the same thing as your partner, then I could see making the decision because of that.
Yeah.
But also, when Belle said she smokes weed, she doesn't sit on the couch by herself smoking
No,
weed. It's
I'm not
like
talking
we've had
about-
friends over and she smoked weed. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I know I'm just using that as the impetus for this conversation.
And I would ask you, now this is my responsibility. I'm the one with the disease, not you. So
Yeah.
I would ask you, please don't chop up rails ever in front of me on the coffee table.
What's
like
that?
Coke. I don't want you to ever bring over an 8-ball of Coke and mash it up in front of me because that it would be dicey. I don't want to see it. I don't want to think about that high ever again. I would tell you as a boundary, and I would tell my wife as a boundary, hey, when you smoke weed, it fucks with me because I love weed and I want to do it too. But I don't love weed and I don't want to do it, so it's not a big deal. But I would definitely tell her, please don't bring cocaine into the house. Not that she ever would. She's never done cocaine. But you know what I'm saying. It's on me.
It is on you, but I mean, you're not an island. Like the people around you who love you don't want to make your life harder. They want to make it easier. And I hope that people around me want to make my life easier. It's all mutual.
You're absolutely right. But you drinking around me has never made my life harder.
Well, I know
nor if
that.
you smoked weed around me would that make my life harder.
I know. I'm just saying in general with people who are probably mad about this are thinking about alcoholics they know or their circumstances or whatever. And yes, in this specific one, of course, like, yeah, Kristen's not like just smoking weed and you don't like it and that's silly.
Yeah.
But I can see like if somebody is newly-ish or not even newly, like I don't know, some people are more tempted. Some people's alcohol or weed is your cocaine.
Yeah, for sure.
So when they think about that, it's like, why would she or why would anybody be tempting that
Right.
person like that? But I can see the sense of why wouldn't you protect your partner who needs protection in that way?
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink around you anymore.
Oh my God.
I'm just
You couldn't possibly.
I'm just-
That'd be way harder than vegan.
No, are you serious? I don't drink around you that much.
No, not that
Most
much.
of the times we hang out, I'm not drinking.
Just the weekends, I would say. The weekends are made for Michelob. Listen, I've said it to you. I do not want anyone to not drink because
I
of me. I want people to be doing the thing that puts them in the happiest space and has the best time. That's what I want for all
But
my friends.
I would rather be hanging out with you and not drinking than drinking
at
somewhere.
that Halloween party throwing up.
Yeah. Ugh, that was so embarrassing.
Oh my God, I love it. Did you get it all over your clothes?
Probably.
Did you have any diarrhea? You know, sometimes when you're puking so hard and your body's contorting and all your muscles are engaged, you could have a little squirt in back.
I hope not. I was wearing a skirt.
Oh my God! Well, you could have then and just never knew. It might have shot right out the bottom.
Oh, God.
Well, you'd know you were wearing unders. I bet MeUndies.
I don't know. I was feeling sexy.
Oh wow, wow. What was your costume that
Little
when?
Red Riding
Oh,
Hood.
perfect. Oh, perfect.
So embarrassing.
Hmm.
Okay. She said that she heard that eating apples was good for diction,
Oh,
and it's not
oh.
that I can find.
Okay.
Yeah, I found no
It could be anecdotal for
no evidence.
people individually. Like their diction improves when they eat an apple.
Totally
we
could.
wouldn't argue that.
But there's no science behind it.
Oh, okay. Or no studies, maybe.
Okay, I thought maybe I'd play this Spanish Pepto-Bismol commercial. It's not the one that she auditioned for because I couldn't find that.
Chica, Pepto Ultra Cubrimiento tratará bien a tu estómago. Prueba Pepto con Ultra Cubrimiento.
With, all I know is with something.
Oh, I didn't even try
Pepto
to.
with cone. It's so tempting to make fun of that and I don't want to because I don't want to make fun of any Spanish speakers. But
course.
I wanted to immediately start in translating. Like she shit her pants,
gosh.
yeah. So and then I police myself, but not so well that I'm not telling you now.
Yeah, now you're still talking about it.
Yeah, but it's not. You don't have that temptation to just like fill in what the English words would be.
No, weirdly, no, that was not my temptation.
Okay.
I was laughing at it because it's a bunch of dancers in pink suits and they're like dancing around.
In an intestine, or
No, they're just enjoying life, which I guess they're enjoying it because they don't have diarrhea.
they have the freedom to
That's
bounce
right.
around and jump. What if the commercial was? It was like 20 of those folks in the pink outfits, and there was a swimming pool of dank brown water, and then they jumped in singing, and then all that dank water disappeared. Like they sucked it all up, and they just got even plumper, but still pink. They never took on the shade of the disgusting water. That would be a good commercial,
Yeah,
right?
that's a great commercial.
Because that's what you want to happen. You want to drink the bismuth, the pink bismuth, and you want it to go into your stomach and just sop up everything.
Yeah.
And then form a nice pink turd.
And then plops right out.
Now, that is the thing about pink bismuth that makes your poop black.
Black. And your tongue black.
Yes, as you found out. Remember you thought you had a...
No,
Yeah,
Kristen
Kristen
freaked
thought
out,
she
and
had it.
I relieved her because I already knew based on my own experience.
I've never gotten the black tongue from it,
Really?
but that I'm aware
Do you
of.
think it's genetic?
I hope so. There's a marker for it.
It's on 23andMe.
But it makes your poo-poo black. And a couple different times I've forgotten that I
Same.
ingested pink bismuth, and then I think, oh, I'm internally bleeding. Because
Ah.
that's another sign of internal bleeding is if you have black poop.
I also forget sometimes, and then I stare at it for a couple seconds. Because I guess you're more of a hypochondriac than me. I don't really go to an internal bleeding, but I do think,
It was something my mom was always on high alert for. She was always like, look at your stool. If it's ever black, you have internal bleeding. We got to get that fixed immediately. So I was always quick to turn around.
sure.
Oh.
Talking to strangers, you said that Malcolm said
Yeah.
that 8 drinks over 4 hours will predictably cause a blackout for women, but not men. So this is the part in the book.
Okay.
For psychological reasons, the binge drinking trend has put women at greatly increased risk for blackouts. If an American male of average weight has 8 drinks over 4 hours, you got that correct.
Well, I'm shocked. I was panicked from the
shocked,
second
too.
you started reading. Yeah.
I was very surprised. Which would make him a moderate drinker at a typical frat party. He would end up with a blood alcohol reading of 0.107. That's too drunk to drive, but well below the 0.15 level typically associated with blackouts. If a woman of average weight has 8 drinks over 4 hours, by contrast, she's at a blood alcohol level of 0.173.
0.175? 3.
She's blacked out.
She's way past that 0.15.
It gets worse. Women are also increasingly drinking wine and spirits, which raise blood alcohol levels much faster than beer. Women are also more likely to skip meals when they drink than men. Having a meal in your stomach when you drink reduces your peak blood alcohol concentration by about 1/3. In other words, if you drink on an empty stomach, you're going to reach a much higher BAC, and you're going to do it much more quickly. If you're drinking spirits and wine while you're drinking on an empty stomach, again, higher BAC much more quickly. And if you're a woman, less body water yields higher BAC much more quickly. Oof. Women have it rough.
I mean, I'm going to have to hit my daughters with this fucking data before they go away to college.
You know what's interesting, though? I've never blacked out in my life.
Really?
Not even on this puke Halloween.
Really? Mm-hmm. Maybe because you always have munchies in your stomach?
No, I actually think that was the problem with that day.
You hadn't eaten much.
Didn't eat much. But what? But I've
diarrhea
never
out the
blacked.
skirt.
No. But I've never blacked out. So maybe my just hippocampus is too strong. It can't get infiltrated.
I'd believe it. You're a phenom in a lot of ways. That wouldn't
you.
shock me.
Thank you. But you've blacked out, right?
Oh, God. Oh, God. You know, my worst one is hundreds of times I've lost an evening. But the worst one that should have been my bottom was, I've told you the story. I went out on a Friday night, and I had seen my pill dealer earlier that morning, and I had gotten pills for what should have been like 2 weeks of pill consumption. Like 100 and some diet pills, a ton of Vicodin.
Diet pills. What's that even doing for you?
Getting you high like Coke. It's a stimulant. The ones that are not good for you. I don't even know if they make these anymore. But bunch of Xanax. I mean, you know, dozens and dozens of Xanax, dozens and dozens of Vicodins, and all these diet pills. And I went out and I got an 8-ball at a party. And then I decided I'm going home. I want to be off the streets. And I got a 5th of Jack and I got like a 30-pack of beer. And I came to, and it was like evening. And I'm like, oh my God, I must have slept all the way through to Saturday evening. I'm going to cut to the chase. It was Monday evening, and I was missing 3 days.
Did anyone say like, "Oh yeah, we hung out"? Like, fill the gap?
No. All the pills were gone.
Yeah.
All the beer was gone. All the Jack was gone. All the Coke was gone, and all the pills. Everything was empty. My singular memory, as I've told you, is I at some point was going to go for a motorcycle ride.
Yeah.
And I dropped my Harley, which was a full dresser. So it was like an 840-pound motorcycle that I then tried to pick up for, I remember this. This went on for over an hour of me trying to pick this motorcycle up. Couldn't get it up. I remember someone from my apartment complex watching me in deep concern, as they should be.
Yeah.
Me being embarrassed and no, I got it. And I eventually got it up on the kickstand. Went inside. So when I woke up, I was so sore from trying to lift that motorcycle up for so long.
Yeah.
Like I had torn the muscles on my rib cage were very fucked up to the point where I was like, was I in an accident or something? But that's pretty much all I remember from the whole thing.
That was divine intervention. It's kind of amazing you don't believe in God and you had that story.
Yes. Well, I was very aware of the fact that the amount of pills that were in that box consumed in 2 days, I certainly shouldn't have woken up. And that's the only time I ever let my mom in on what was going on. I called her and started crying on the phone because I was very scared. And then I went and rode.
Cried? Mm-hmm. Even though it was before Mac?
It was before Mac. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I cried to her on the phone, and then I went and rode my bicycle on the Santa Monica Strand for hours trying to get all the crap out of my body. I was trying to sweat it out. It was terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible.
Yeah.
And then I still continue to do drugs.
Yeah,
I think I put together like a month after that episode, but then found my way back.
It's a
There's a
bummer.
funny version of that story, but I didn't tell the funny version.
There's no funny version of that.
All right. Understandably so, you're a little hung up on that. I bought a bunch of diet pills. That does sound a little weird.
That's all
Yeah,
weird.
it's like Coke. I got Coke, ecstasy, diet pills.
This is weird. But have you ever blacked out from just drinking?
Oh, yeah. Tons of times, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so the Paris Bridge with love locks. It's called the Pont des Arts. PONTDESARTS. And it did get, all those locks got taken down because it had more than 700,000 locks on it. And it weighed roughly the same as 20 elephants.
Oh, wow.
45 tons. So they took it down in 2015.
Ooh.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm still reeling from the relief of not having gotten the 8 and 4 hours part wrong.
I know. Good
Yeah.
job. Congrats.
Sorry, curlers. Sorry, type 1 diabetics.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.